You're watching the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network. Now it's time for the Brent Austen Show.
Now we give it a live look at the ballpark here on a Friday as we head into a weekend that will be the end of May and into the summer. We got a little Hawks and Turtles action. Yeah, that's who's playing today, the Coastal Collegiate Baseball League here in Jacksonville. And so we're going to show you some of the game throughout the day and give you a little bit of something different here on a Friday afternoon. They've got a triple header today, by the way, 10 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock. And we are going to talk some ball, talk a little hockey, talk a little NBA, talk a lot of Jags, as we always do. So, hey, everybody, and welcome in to the Brent Austen Show on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network. And hopefully these folks in the stands don't mind listening to me talk for the next few hours. I think we'll probably get people moving away as the day continues from the at least radius that I'm in here at Ford Family Park, the Bregan Baseball Complex. Beautiful spot on a beautiful morning, really, in Jacksonville. It's like it's cooled off a little bit for now. We'll see what happens at like 1 o'clock and 4 o'clock. Say hello to Austin Lane down in South Florida. He's going to join us for a half hour or so as he continues fight camp for his next UFC fight in July. Austin, are we ever going to find out exactly when this fight is? I mean, when are they going to announce this sucker? We got to sell some tickets.
I feel like once all like the medicals go through and it's official, I have to get my blood test today and everything. So like I think once that gets submitted, then the UFC can announce it.
Okay, how we feeling? How's camp going?
Great, man. Camp's going great. Staying healthy, which is the most important part. But yeah, it's just you know what it is. I mean, every day is kind of like a Groundhog's Day. Bust your ass, rest, bust your ass, rest, and eat in between, and rest some more. So that's kind of like that's basically what I'm going through right now. But I love it, man. I wouldn't be doing it if I didn't love it.
You break any Russian ribs lately?
No, haven't broken any Russian ribs lately, but actually got the chance to grapple against one of the, I would call him the cornerstones of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He goes by the name Buchecha, who's now he's an MMA fighter as well, but I think he's a 3-time ADCC champion, which means that he won the biggest tournament in the world of any weight class, and when you do that, you can kind of call yourself the baddest grappler in the world. So I've been getting some some good work in with him, man. He's on just a different level. He's trying to get to MMA himself, and he's got a couple of fights under his name, but he's known for his jiu-jitsu. And when you face one of the best in the world like that on a daily basis, man, it's only going to get you better in terms of grappling and everything. But it's amazing. Just I've gone against some great guys, but going against him, man, just the strength, just the movement that he has, it's world class.
It's funny. I think a tweet this morning. I think I was just bouncing around some things, and I forget who it was. It was Dabo Swinney and Bill Belichick, I think. There was a conversation about just how good wrestlers are at in football, right? If you think about the guys that come out all the time, especially those D linemen, and that wrestling background, that wrestling mentality, I think in this sport of baseball, a lot of coaches will talk about, hey, I want the football guy, right? Well, I think a lot of football people talk, hey, I don't mind the wrestling guy, and it's usually paid dividends along the way. So, and you kind of start to think about that wrestling mentality. I don't know what else it translates, but it obviously would translate to your sport in MMA. And you're going to get the mental toughness. You're going to get a guy usually pretty tough to move, knows his body real well, like all those kind of different things. So tight in space type of sports seems to make sense.
When you talk about wrestling, I think it's two things in terms of how it can cross over to football. And obviously you have the mental toughness. Like if you're going to be a successful wrestler, like you're going to have that mental toughness. And mental toughness is huge in the sport of football. But also, and it's a description that gets used a lot in draft circles, but it's the truth, and that's contact balance. Whether we're talking about defensive linemen or offensive linemen. When you wrestle, you learn complete body control, right? Because your body is essentially your weapon. When you're in the trenches, whether you're going after somebody as an offensive lineman or you're taking on contact, you have to know how to counterbalance. You have to know how to get the guy's hands off of you, or you have to know, if you're an offensive lineman, how to drive through somebody. Those attributes are all found in wrestling. So I think it's more of probably like an offensive lineman, defensive lineman attribute more than anything. I think if you feel like a wide receiver who's a wrestler, God help you, right? Because now you have a guy who is like mentally tough, but also a great wide receiver. But when you have these wrestlers who, play in the trenches, yeah, I think that's a huge thing. I mean, Tristan Wirfs is a guy that I talked about before on the show because my Pop Warner coach, Tim Polasek, who now coaches at NDSU, coached Tristan Wirfs at Iowa. And he even told me, he's like, man, one of the first things that we look for is, did the kid wrestle? Just because from that contact balance, from just having complete fluidity of your body, it means everything.
Yeah, well, by the way, Mason Graham obviously was talked about with that contact balance. I don't think I've ever heard. I've been covering a lot of drafts in the NFL, and I think I heard contact balance more this draft than ever before. Ashton Genty at number 5, and obviously Mason Graham possibility at number 5. Right, those were guys that the Jags talked about, and those were the traits. Like so, and it makes sense. Like especially at. I think more at the running back position, actually, that contact balance makes a lot of sense to be able to stay up. So, hey, let's transition to that Jaguars. And once again, we've been telling you ever since the draft that Ashton Genty was going to be the guy. And in the hunt last night, it was confirmed one more time. The hunt, the special that the Jaguars do and put out periodically, and they do a nice job with all that exclusive content, which it is exclusive, but they do a great job putting it together. All the folks we know down there at the Jags, and it's on their YouTube channel. It's about 38 minutes long, I think. Watched it in its entirety. I know you guys are down there. I'm not sure if you had a chance to catch up to it yet, but
I saw it.
But there was a time in there, Austin, that it was crystal clear. I think it was Jake Tammy, if I'm saying his name right, Tammy, on the phone with Gladstone as he's walking around the field, and he's like, hey, we can get a running back between 80 and 150. And it was just further confirmation that they were obviously going Ashton Genty at number 5 if they stuck there, right? And then we've told you that they were very interested, even when they had picked number 70 at the time, of trying to get R.J. Harvey out of UCF. But the Denver Broncos ended up picking him at number 60. And then they end up getting Bashal Tutin in the 4th round. So to me, listen, we'll get into the Travis Hunter and James Gladstone part of this, but it's really eye-popping how much they wanted to get and upgrade that running back room and find a workhorse in the running back room, which does shed some light that they are not full in on Travis Etienne and Tank Bigsby, don't you think?
Yeah, it definitely does shed some light, but also it's and I'm not saying I'm shocked by it, but it is surprising how when Liam Cohen made his debut, how he kind of spoke about those guys, how excited he was to work with Tank Bigsby and Travis Etienne. So once again, I can't say that I'm shocked based off of what you saw last year, but I was a little shocked just because we've heard the sound bites from Liam Cohen saying how much he likes both those guys.
Brent Austen.
Yeah. So what does it mean, though? I guess if you're Etienne. And you're going into your last year. If you're Tank Bigsby and you're going into a pivotal year 3 where you can earn some money. And if you're Bashal Tutin, quite frankly, who looks like he's got a good opportunity, most people will back that up with if he can hold on to the football. How are you feeling if you're those guys in this running back room? Is it just part of the business where somebody's always trying to take your job? They're always looking for something different. Do you get accustomed to that? Does that play with your mental game a little bit? How do you do that if you're ETN this time of year?
No, I mean,
this
season? May be new to Tank Bigsby. Well, I guess it could be. It could be newer to Travis Etienne, but at the end of the day, like, this is the way of the NFL world. And when you get a new coaching staff in, or if you get a new coordinator in, you know that now it's your job to try to go out there and make a first impression again. Because unless you're a Saquon Barkley, Christian McCaffrey, Derrick Henry, you have to prove yourself all over again. It's going to be a new offense. I remember that exact same thing when, Gus Bradley came in. And, I was a 3-year starter for the Jaguars. Gus Bradley comes in, and it's a brand new defense. And I'm like, oh, crap. I'm behind the 8 ball again because I don't really fit what he's trying to do. So I had to try to go out there and, make that impression. Same thing for Tank Bigsby. Same thing for Travis Etienne, where, sure, if you're Travis Etienne, you have a little bit of a resume. You have shown some good, but honestly, you aren't tied to any of these coaches. You aren't tied to the GM. So it's on you to go out there and make that good first impression again and get in their good graces.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. We're sitting here watching a baseball game, right, at the Coastal Collegiate Baseball League, and I'm thinking about what you're saying and thinking about these guys. Now, they're getting paid a lot of money, high-level competition, understood, not here. I'm talking about at the NFL level. But it's funny, like, from a mom and dad standpoint, and you'll see this with Ronan, too, and you'll probably have a different view of it because of the level that you play at and still compete at. But, people preach competition. There's nothing better than watching good competition against good competition. Like, in my opinion, the worst games are this thing turns out to be 12-1. Like, I don't want to see that game. Like, I'd almost rather lose 3-2 than win 14-1, like, against somebody that I just know I'm going to beat. I just would rather have a good competitive game. And I know that sounds kind of silly, and maybe that means I don't want to win enough, but you get the context of it. We like it. But from, like, a mom and dad point of view, often you almost don't like it because you're like, hey, I want my kid to play. Or I want to know my kid's going to play, or something like that. Well, what's happening in the world of high school and college sports right now is we've got enormous amount of competition, right? We've got better players at all different levels in all sports, and that doesn't sit well all the time with moms and dads. Even if you're in college, when I played, I redshirt my freshman year. I can see that the outfielders are leaving because they're graduating and everything else. Well, now that doesn't matter anymore. Like, the next year, they're bringing somebody in. You can go hit 340. They're bringing somebody else in with more power. Like, all those things are very real now at the collegiate level and even in the high school level to some degree, depending on what high school you are at. And we're so used to this travel ball world, whether it's 7-on-7s, AAU basketball, travel ball world, and baseball, that you just pay to play in 12, 13 roster spots you're going to end up playing. Well, take it to the NFL level now, and they're always trying to get your job. At the pro level, they're always trying to find the guy that's making you a little bit better. If you're the Jacksonville Jaguars, they're really trying to find people that are going to replace and upgrade that roster because they haven't been very good. So there's just no comfort ever, I think, at that level. Trevor Lawrence has some level of comfort, but even he's up against it, Austin. But I just think right now the squeeze is really on that running back room, specifically Travis Etienne, not too far behind Tank Bigsby. It feels like if I'm Travis watching that edition of the Hunt and knowing what I know over the last couple of months, I'm like, man, they don't love me here. I got to go earn their trust, and I got to go earn their confidence that I'm the guy that can carry the load in the fall.
I think even coming off of last season, he should have known that already, right? Where he underachieved. You can say it's some of the offensive line, you can say it's some of the play calling, but then the numbers still speak for themselves. So, like, if I was Travis Etienne coming off that last season, I already know what's up, and it's like I got to prove myself once again, especially in a very important year where if you're trying to make some money from another team, man, you got to show out.
All right, give me your other take on what was your takeaway of the whole process and I mean, it featured James Gladstone big time.
Yeah,
obviously.
it was definitely a James Gladstone centric episode. A few things I took away from it. So, we've been going back and forth with this, and maybe finally got put to bed a little bit, but I still question it. We talk about what intangibly rich meant. Right, and James Gladstone, I think was it James Gladstone or was it Tony Baselli who kind of gave the definition? I think it was Tony.
Yeah, I think it was Tony. I think you're right.
Let me ask you this question then, because and to paraphrase what Tony said, it's about the passion for the game, loving what you do, putting the extra work in, things like that. If that's the definition, who do you think was the most intangibly rich player last year for the Jacksonville Jaguars?
Love the game, passionate for the game. I think I know where you're going with there. It doesn't come to mind that it's like Brian Thomas Jr., but I have no idea. Well, I mean, you could play Foyer. I mean, is it Dewey Wingard? I don't know. Trayvon, Josh Hines Allen, and Brian Thomas Jr. don't come to mind jumping off a TV screen in that fashion when you mention those words. I'm not saying they don't have it. I'm just saying they don't jump off the page to everybody like other players do, like a Dewey Wingard. Man, he loves flying around and playing the game, and you see it, he oozes it, those kind of things.
So this is the last time I'm going to bring this up, and then we can let it go to bed. But if I'm talking about the most intangibly rich player from last year, well, who was the guy that was always first out to practice, and who was the guy that was usually the last one to leave practice?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Evan Ingram. Yeah.
So if that's truly the definition that you're going with, then why was the most intangibly rich guy let go? And once again, we can say because of the scheme. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. We can say because of the money. Okay, that makes sense. But like, if intangibly rich is truly like the biggest goal, I feel like Evan Ingram, in terms of his work ethic, in terms of, you know, we've talked about it again, but with like Trevor Lawrence getting cheap shotted, like, I think Evan Ingram was the personification of what that definition meant in the hunt. So that was one of my takeaways. Another takeaway.
Let me stop you right there. Because I think that's a pretty good. Here's the deal. You have a belief. I think we have to give a little background here. You have a belief that intangibly rich is more based on production. That's why I bring up the Josh Hines Allen names, Trayvon Walker, Brian Thomas Jr. I actually believe it does morph. We have a little difference of opinion that it does morph into that. I love playing the game. I got a passion for the game. I make everybody else around. Like, those are intangibles that you just can't measure as much as statistics. Although I don't deny the production part. I really don't. But I do think you can be intangibly rich and be not as productive. Like, I think there's a sense of Brenton Strange that actually was intangibly rich to them last year because he plays with a pissiness, right? He plays with an edge. But he did that in blocking. Those aren't coming up in productive stats and other
to
things
be fair,
like
though,
making
Brent,
Evan
like,
Ingram.
if we talk about production looks like a lot of different things, right? Like, yeah, we think of production in terms of receptions, touchdowns, and yards receiving. But if you go to like a film room, you break down an offense, there's pluses and minuses, right? So every single play, you either get a plus or you get a minus. And I think Brenton Strange maybe had a lot of pluses just in terms of how he handled himself in that run game. So maybe it didn't come up on the fantasy stats per se for Brenton Strange, but I think in terms of production of how he handled himself in the run game, it did come up.
Okay, so my point in this is you bring up Evan Ingram, and I think it's a really good point. So why did they let a guy like that go with that kind of passion, who loves playing, who does all those things that you mentioned? But, hey, he also is very productive as a player too, Austin. So I think it's a fascinating point. Why would you, if you're oozing intangibly rich, let an Evan Ingram go and not be a part of this? And while you would say, okay, he's a little older, we've argued he doesn't fit as a chess piece. The Jags actually do have some older players. This is not a rip down, get 25 and under type of thing here. They do have a 31-year-old, 32-year-old now, Eric Armstead, a 31-year-old, 32-year-old now, Emmanuel Ogbah they just brought in. So they are not completely young. So I think I don't have an answer here. I just think you bring up a really good point that your and my definitions combined can still equal Evan Ingram. He might have been one of the most intangibly rich players they've had over the last couple of years, and yet this regime actually let him go and walk to Denver.
It's once again, just my opinion, but I believe they let Evan Ingram go because he wouldn't have been productive in this new offense. He wouldn't have had all those pluses when you watch the film in terms of his run blocking. He wouldn't have had all the pluses in terms of what they were trying to do, I feel like, in their blocking schemes on offense. That's why I think Evan Ingram was let go. Not because, obviously, he didn't care about the game of football, not because he's not a good Jacksonville Jaguar, not because he doesn't work hard. Like, those are all attributes that we all celebrate Evan Ingram for. I think what it came down to more was when we turn on the film from this up-and-coming season and we're reviewing it, how does he look in terms of production, whether it's in the run game or what they're trying to do in the receiving game? And I don't think it was going to be as high as it was last year, and that's why he was let go. Now, another thing that I noticed that I thought was pretty cool with James Gladstone, listen, dude can talk, right? And it is what it is. Like, that's his style, and more power to you. And it's kind of subtle, but I think I picked up on it a little bit. I love how the whole walk around the field thing with employees looks harmless, right? But when you deep dive into it, this is a form of communication. This is a form of establishing order. And here's what I mean by it. If I work for James Gladstone, say I'm Tony Vaselli, right? And I work for James Gladstone, and say that we want to talk about the draft, or we want to talk about Travis Hunter, we want to talk about what we're trying to do. Well, I would probably have to go to James Gladstone's office to do that, right? And when you go in somebody's office, well, what is it? Like I sit at one side of the room, and he has his desk over there sitting on the other side of the room. It's almost like a hierarchy, right? It's almost like you're going to the principal's office a little bit, right? You have to sit in the smaller chair, and the principal gets like the big chair, right? Because that's the chain of command. That's the hierarchy. When he has these conversations where he's walking around the field, I don't think it's just because the guy likes going for walks. I think it's because he likes to set up a casual setting of having conversation. And it goes to show you, like, hey, I'm the GM here. Yes, I'm very important, but we're on the same level. We're walking side by side. You aren't in my office. You're not sitting in front of me. I'm not telling you what to do. We're in this whole thing together. And I do like that, because if we look at the past of how things have gone down in this organization, I feel like sometimes people were a little too power hungry. I feel like sometimes people were a little like, yep, come to my office. I'm running the show. We got to talk about it. Or like, whether you want to go back to the Doug Marrone thing where it's like, well, who is running the show? I think James Gladstone has done a great job in terms of the communication, which we preached a lot about, but I think he's done a great job of bringing himself down to everyone's level. And that's not a diss by any means. I'm just saying that's a great form of communication, and that's how you build culture.
Awesome observation. That's really good stuff. And I'll give you a sneak peek on, for me, as I'm sitting there watching that. My mind, of course, I'm usually thinking about stuff. I have too much things I'm thinking about in terms of what we want to do with the network or what we want to do on the show. And it's like, holy cow, dude, stop thinking.
Right?
But I wish it would stop. I really do. But I can't sit here and tell you that I didn't watch that. Steph was sitting on the couch watching, I'm watching it, and I'm just thinking, I'm like, man, I wonder if Casey and I should start taking walks around the building.
Yeah, Brent, but knowing you and him, man, like you might have somebody with like a baseball bat ready to take him out, man, kind of like the Godfather or something, like go on that fishing trip, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, but it actually does. Like, I think he's putting on, I almost feel like you're at a leadership conference when you're talking to him. Like, I really do it. He's a 34-year-old guy that I think actually, he's leaning on some old leadership principles. You can read books about it. You can do all these things. I get it. I think he's leaning on some of that. But he also does have some, just got a great feel for that. And even the setting in the team room, it wasn't really what he said. I think a lot of people would have said what he said there about to the scouts on draft day or the day before draft day. It was more how he's blended the past scouts and the past regime into this regime to make everything happen so quickly. That is a very difficult thing to do. A lot of people, even Shad Khan, when he bought the team, who obviously has been very successful, what Shad basically did the first year, and what a lot of people do the first year, is they sit back and kind of observe how things are going. And they say, okay, now I'm going to put together my plan of how I would change things, which is also a pretty cool way to do it. Like, I get it. Hey, what's good? What's bad? Why go in there and just upset everything right away? You don't need to do that. But I thought he didn't have time to do that. James Gladstone had to move quick. He had to start leading right away. And I thought his blending of the past guys and this current group and what he's trying to do, there's a lot going on there, man. And for him to blend all that together, I think it feels like it's a pretty masterful job. So I think your observation is really cool. I think you could watch some of that if you're a leader of something and probably take something away from, hey, that's not a bad way to do it. And I think you just hit on one of the elements. Go for a walk around the building once in a while might not be a bad idea. The other thing that I took away from it, Austin, Baselli and Gladstone both commented about this, and they said, we've been talking a lot. And they have been. We've been talking. We've been articulating what we want to do. We've been telling you our philosophies, and they've done such an admirable job of that, in my opinion. Twofold. One, we didn't have a lot of it. We needed it. We've been hammering this organization for lack of transparency for a very long time. They are not figuring out a cure for whatever. They're playing football. It's not that secretive, and they've been able to be transparent with everybody about what's going on, and I really applaud them for that so far. The other thing is they're just interesting to listen to. Like, they're refreshing to listen to. It doesn't sound like the same old stuff in the NFL and really around here in Jacksonville. But they both acknowledged that they couldn't wait to act, and the draft was the first opportunity to do that and put what they've been saying in motion. They also both kind of said, and this is what I got out of it, that they're done talking pretty much. Like, it's now Liam Cohen's team, and they're going to start settling back into the weeds. And I've got to be honest with you, I don't know if I like that. I think they're very good at it. They don't need to be out there every week, but I actually think the fan base, and I think, well, maybe it's just me and the media, but want to hear from them a little bit more often than traditional GMs and even EVPs would talk. And so I'm almost kind of clamoring for them at some point in the season, some point over the next 6 months, to kind of come back out there, articulate, talk about what's going on. And by the way, when you do that, people thought Doug was on an island last year at times, and that's why he messed up in all of this messaging and everything else. Maybe, even if things aren't going as great as you want it to, maybe Baselli and Gladstone can ease some of that on a first-year head coach and Liam Cohen. So I don't think they're going to talk much. I think they're going to lay back and let Liam do his thing, which I get, but I also kind of hope that they do jump up in front of a microphone once in a while and talk, because they're pretty darn good at it, and I think people's ears perk up when they're talking.
Yeah, I mean, they're really good at it, right? And listen, I think if you're the Jaguars media team, you'd love them to talk every single week. But from the football side of things, like, and I get what you're saying, Brent, but I'm gonna be honest. I don't need to see James Gladstone every single week, right? Like, I don't need to see even Tony Baselli every single week. Like, I need to see them if things go so bad. And once again, this is just, hateful thinking, which I'm not trying to bring to the table here. But like, if things go so bad where it's like, well, hey, you can't just leave like Liam Cohen out there to dry. Somebody else step in here and say something. Then sure, by all means, take the microphone and explain yourself. But if this team is going to be an upgrade from last year and they're going to have more success, then you've done your job in the offseason, right? Like, now it's time to hand the torch off to Liam Cohen. He's the NFL head coach. Let him coach. Let him speak on behalf of it. And then let's go from there. So I understand where, like, it's so many great sound bites where you want to hear these guys year round. But I think if we do, I'm not saying we get sick and tired of it, but I think it takes away then what Liam Cohen would try to do. And I'm going to be honest, man. Through that last episode of The Hunt, I had to check to see how old James Gladstone is again, which is, by the way, 34. Because when he said ops in the video, I'm like, dude, I've never felt so old in my entire life. Like, I like to think, I mean, I lean towards the younger side sometimes in terms of pop culture and the way I present myself and the way I speak. Now, when it comes to football and the game and how it should be played, yeah, I'm old school. But when you talk about just dialogue and everything, oh, come on, man. I'm like a big-ass kid. I have never once said the word ops in my entire life. So I was kind of taken back a little bit when I heard James Gladstone say that, because I'm like, man, just when I think I'm pretty young and, I'm hip and everything, he drops the ops bomb, and I'm like, oh, I'm way too old for this.
You're only with us for a couple more minutes, so let me end with this for this segment. And I can't help, and you know me, I'm sunshine and rainbows guy. I'm kind of positive guy. I'm all in on this stuff. I'm like, hey, let's go. Very refreshing. I feel like it's going to work. I think the Jags are going to be better than people think. I don't think they're winning 14 games, but I think they're going to be better. I can't help but watch that, and I know everybody can feel good this time of year. And you start asking yourself, man, what if this really does work? Like, what if this dude, is legit? Like, what if Gladstone and Baselli and Cohen are building this thing to the way it's supposed to be, and all the things that they're saying, or at least most of the things they're saying, are actually going to build a consistent winner in Jacksonville? Like, I don't know if you get that at all coming away, or is that just me? Yeah. But it did enter my mind. It's like, man, this thing could be really damn good in Jacksonville.
Here's what I get from it. Tony Baselli and James Gladstone have been featured a lot, right? They're sometimes are the trending topics, and that's a great thing. Liam Cohen, and once again, this is by design, because they haven't played a game yet. But I feel like Liam Cohen is almost the B-side right now. Like, you have Tony Baselli, James Gladstone, and then there's Liam Cohen. I'm not going to compare this team to any other team around the National Football League, right? But I feel like if we want to compare ourselves to the Houston Texans of how they turned around things so quickly, I didn't see the behind-the-scenes things. I didn't know what their GM was doing. I didn't know what their owner was doing. I didn't know if they have an EVP or not. But what I do know is that they had DeMeco Ryans, who came in and kind of set a precedent of what it means to be a Houston Texan, right? Like, what he expects the defense to look like. Let's help out C.J. Stroud. I felt like DeMeco Ryans, love him or hate him, he came in day one and said, all right, we got to change things around a little bit. With Liam Cohen, and once again, maybe he has done that. We just really haven't seen it. But it's a different way of going about things, because for the whole process of the Houston Texans, DeMeco Ryans was the guy that was front and center. For this process, the Jacksonville Jaguars, I feel like it's been more James Gladstone with a sprinkle of Tony Baselli, and we haven't really seen Liam Cohen a lot. Now, not saying that's the wrong thing to do things, right? I mean, there's a million ways to skin a cat. But at the end of the day, you're going to have to, when you're Liam Cohen, it's your time to shine. You got to step up and shine as well.
That's a really good observation again, man. He has been, even in that episode, he was in it like twice on the sound bites, right? Like that was it. And this is a coach-centric team. I almost got hit by, I feel like I'm going to get hit by a foul ball as I see that thing kind of come right at me. So if I duck out of the way, that screen only means so much to me. But yeah, I think that's a great point, and now it's his turn, right? Now it's his turn. I've talked to a bunch of people around the NFL, I'd say a bunch, but enough around the NFL and others even here in Jacksonville. And I think the biggest question, and I've got confidence in Liam Cohen, he's going to be good. The biggest question about this working in Jacksonville is Liam Cohen. And I think part of that is because you were right. You haven't seen him as much. We're still trying to figure him out. We haven't seen his offense on display. We don't know what it all looks like. So I think it's a really good point. He's the question mark. But now he shifts to become front and center now the rest of this year, the rest of 2025, and maybe the rest of whatever here in Jacksonville. But it is different because from Tom Coughlin to Jack Del Rio to even more recently with Urban Meyer and Doug Peterson, those guys were the faces of this. You heard from them all the time, and they were the ones that kind of set the tone. All three of these guys to some degree have set the tone, but it does feel like Gladstone and Baselli have taken a bigger role in that up to this point. That's about to change.
They're really fast out the gate, and like I said, now it's time for Liam Cohen to kind of step up too as well because, and once again, this isn't from our level. This is from the national level though, right? Like, what do we know about Liam Cohen? Well, he said Duval a funny way, and that's about, I mean, like I feel like the national knows so much more about James Gladstone and a little bit about Tony Baselli. Yeah, like if you plan on turning things around and you plan on having that Houston Texans like run their first year at D'Amico Ryans, now it's time for Liam Cohen to step up, establish the culture, and turn things around.
All right, man, go get to work. We might see you a little bit later. If not, have a good weekend, and we'll be back at it Monday as we give you a look here at the Coastal Collegiate Baseball League, and it's 1-0. Turtles in the lead over the Hawks, and we're in the I don't know if we're in the bottom of the second or the top of the third. I can't tell. But we'll figure that part out. We're going to show you some live looks, so everybody in the stands will have to shout out. Go to lookactionsportsjacks.com. You'll be able to see this game pretty much in its entirety the rest of the way during our show, as we'll talk a little ball, we'll talk a little NBA, we'll talk a little NHL, we'll talk a little bit of everything. Nice base hit, and this could be an RBI single to right, and it looks like it is going to be, and that will confirm potentially if this is the bottom of the second. Are those the Turtles? Yeah, those are the Turtles. It is the bottom of the second. It's now 2-0. So there's your score. We'll take a break. Brent Austen Show, Action Sports Jacks 24/7 Network. Again, you can check it out at actionsportsjacks.com. Check it out on the app at Action News Jacks or on your smart TV at home, Apple TV, Google TV, Vizio, you name it. We've got it. Roku and more. Just download the Action News Jacks Now app. When it's time to get a new car for anyone in your family, just remember, nobody but Nimnick, the #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville. Get the latest price breaks on 2023 and 2024 models or the newest 2025 vehicles in the showroom on Phillips Highway, or shop online at nimnickbuickgmc.com 24 hours a day. GMC Sierras, Yukons, and the redesigned Acadias, or get the all-new redesigned line with Buicks. It's nobody but Nimnick, and part of the reason why is this is a first-class buying experience here at Nimnick Buick GMC. You're not just a customer, you're a friend. This is about getting a vehicle that best fits you and getting you on the road, and also helping you and your family down the road. Nimnick has a treating you right guarantee, courtesy, respect, fairness. The most Buicks, GMCs, and Jacksonville's only Car Bravo dealer, nobody but Nimnick. Who has put in the most years and stands behind a better experience? Nobody but Nimnick. GMC. We are professional grade.
The schedules are out for another summer of soccer here in Jacksonville with the Armada men's and women's under-23 squads, starting with the ladies and the home opener on May 24th. 2 weeks later, they're back in Northeast Florida for a June 7th matchup. The season wraps up with a pair of Friday night home matches June 20th and the 27th. As for the boys in blue, they debut against a couple league newcomers on May 9th and 17th respectively, with more home dates on May 31st, June 14th, and June 21st. All those matches are at Edward Waters University, and you can watch them live on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network. Those teams are a big focus on Fleet and Footy, covering the big soccer stories each week on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network.
I'll put one in the back of the net for you.
Join us for player profiles, fun interviews, and the very latest on the Fleet and all things footy. That's every Thursday at 2 p.m.
I've been telling you about CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing for a long time now. Their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. We've had a Connecticut water softener and drinking water system in our home for more than 7 years. You can see the difference whether you're washing clothes, the dishes, or what I like to do most, fill this up for some coffee every morning, and mostly all day. Remember, if you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. Right now, you can get a free Connecticut reverse osmosis system with a purchase of a Connecticut Premier Softener. The experts at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing will test your water for free and determine your water score. Don't know your water score? CGC will find out and recommend the appropriate Connecticut water treatment solutions so you can improve it. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. Ask about our 90-day love it or leave it guarantee. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1432579.
There's a saying in sports, you can't win them all, but you can win a lot with good folks on your team. Like that one painter, First Coast. It's tough to beat the sun in Florida, so your home fades. It's tough to beat that HOA when they come calling. Beat the sun, beat the HOA with that one painter, First Coast. And it's a good time to do it. Less rain to work around, and painting in mild temperatures is perfect. After all, the paint bonds to the surface so much better. Give that one painter First Coast a call at 904-417-3557 or look them up at first-coast.thatonepainter.com. Fast estimate, guidance on color and HOA requirements, and the highest quality job you'll find anywhere. Be a big winner in your neighborhood with that one painter First Coast on your team.
It's fast-paced,
Hands off on first down, and there goes Edward Vander.
high fly,
Wide open receiver. It's caught.
action-packed, weekend fun. Fun for the entire family. It's the Jacksonville Sharks. I feel like anybody could play in this league. It's gotta be like backyard football, right?
Whoa! This ain't the Arena League, Brent. This is the indoor league, and they play defense here.
It's a lot safer to just watch the professionals play. And watching is a lot of fun. A party in the stands at the arena for kids and adults. And it's indoors. Get out of the heat for the summer and watch the Sharks shine inside. Jacksonville Sharks football, season number 15. It's the drive for 5, and it's still alive. Get your tickets at jacksharks.com.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austin Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network.
Well, you're just seeing the conclusion of the second inning here at the Coastal Collegiate Baseball League. We're live at Fort Family, Breaking Baseball Complex, home of Walk-Off Charities as well. Beautiful complex if you haven't been here in the past. The Hawks and the Turtles tipping off a triple header here today in the Coastal Collegiate Baseball League. And we can keep showing you some of the action. Noah Schlicksup is helping us out. He's kind of on the move here with this camera. He's actually heading out to the bullpen, I think is where he's going, at least one of the bullpens. And so we'll continue to show you some of the action. For now, you'll see this ugly mug, and then we'll turn the camera and probably show you most of the rest of this game that is now going into the top of the third inning. And we got a Coastal Collegiate Baseball hat. I probably should have wore that today. I think I have a couple of these now. So it is 2-0 in favor of the Turtles. The cool thing about Coastal Collegiate Baseball League, handful of years now that it's been going, ton of local guys. And so we just had Elias Hicks on the mound for the Hawks. Creekside guy against Alex Calabro. Creekside guy. So there you go. I didn't even set that up. That just really happened. But we got a lot of Jacksonville. I've got Jacksonville and Ponte Vedra and Green Cove Springs on my roster. What this is going to be a big test of is if I remember where a lot of these guys went to school. Now, the Creekside guys are pretty easy to do that with for me. but we'll see if everybody else I know. Well, let's bring in Casey Kurtz as well. We talk more sports during this. Just having some fun, hanging out at the ballpark on really a beautiful morning here in Jacksonville, as it's been hot, but this ain't it right now. I mean, we're in the shade too, but I think the whole weekend is supposed to be a little bit better from a humidity standpoint, so it could be an enjoyable last weekend of May. Check with Mike Burrish and the First Alert Weather Team on that. Brent Austen Show, Action Sports Jax 24/7 Network. Casey, we're going to have to start putting his name on the show if he continues to be on, which I think he will be in the month of June as well, as Jason Hamby just doesn't work anymore. And Austin's kind of a part-timer on the show. Should we just remove Austin's name from the show, like when he's not on?
That would go over well.
And then sneak your name in?
Yeah, I mean,
he'd mind?
Yeah, I think he would mind. Yeah, I think there'd probably be a conversation to be had, but that's not a me problem. That's a you problem. So.
Well, I mean, you can't do anything from Miami.
I mean,
he's not coming back like the whole month, he said. So.
Ooh. All right. Well, yeah, go ahead. Change the whole. How funny would it be though if you changed the whole open? It was like it's the Brent and show. He'd be like, what?
I have to go back to Brent and Friends right now. Brent and Friends on
what a gimmick that was.
690 days. Well, no, that was just out of necessity because we didn't know who the hell was on the show. Which is kind of about right now. That's the case, too.
That's a good point.
We survive and advance, Casey Kurtz. We survive and we advance. At least we hope. Hey, look, the bullpen. Casey, you spent a lot of your time in the bullpen, didn't you?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, to be honest, I did. Didn't get to warm up much because they didn't want me to go in, but I'm familiar with the sitting there part and thinking maybe I'll get to go in, and then, 7 innings later, not in there, I'll just head on home.
How about number 19, Nate Petoso?
Noah's giving us a look at the bullpen. I can't really make it out who the number is warming up. They'll spread the pitching out here. They don't let these guys go too long and get your work in. That's really what this league is all about. It's about getting your work in the summer, getting your ABs, getting your innings pitched. And for a lot of these guys now, the transfer portal, it's really putting some more things on tape and trying to find a home. It's going to be a wild month in collegiate baseball as the portal is filling up. Obviously, the road to the College World Series in Omaha begins today at the Division I level. Florida and Florida State in action starting today. Florida plays at noon, in fact, in that Coastal Carolina Regional. But the next few weeks are just going to be a madhouse. I talked to some folks over at UNF yesterday. A couple weeks ago, I was talking to Chris Hayes about it. It's like this next few weeks is where it's at, and you just got to dig through the portal. You got to figure out who's coming back and what your roster looks like. They probably don't even have a good idea right now for next year until July, which means for the high school kids, and this is why we support the high school kids so much trying to find a home at the collegiate level, the trickle down is on them. Really, because it's hard to find a place to play because everybody wants older guys instead of the high school guys, especially with the transfer portal. It's been a real downside and negative effect of developing and getting the young guys homes to play at the collegiate level. And a thought on that, Casey, I have on my topic list today, so it will transition pretty well. I saw this and didn't realize this in a college basketball article recently that the COVID years are done now. Essentially, they're done. Mm-hmm. So specifically talking about college basketball, but I really think you could get into baseball and other sports. That was a big deal over the last few years. Again, it squeezed out high school kids, but from a performance standpoint and team building standpoint, the coaches wanted older. So if you look at Florida this year, they were an older basketball team, right? They had transfers from all over the place that had played a lot of ball in other places. Mm-hmm. And now came to elevate into the Gators and the SEC. I think the SEC was filled with that. You take Auburn, who also was in the Final Four. They were filled with older players, not just good players. And college basketball in the last, 10, 15, even 20 years has been a one-and-done type of league. Well, it really flipped on its head coming out of COVID, where it became an old man's game. Almost in college basketball. You can still mix the young kid in, but it was an old man's game. It'll be interesting to see how not being able to get that old guy from the COVID years will now impact the sport of college basketball.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be something to follow. And listen, if you didn't have all those extra years and the older players, the Gators would not have won the national championship. There's no doubt about that. I mean, Walter Clayton's a big part of that and a big conversation, but like so is Elijah Martin, who was very good for them and had plenty of years that he had played college basketball. And when you look at their team, the guys that immediately contributed, their young guys didn't immediately contribute. Like Thomas Houck was involved, but he's not a freshman. Like he had been there. So it'll be interesting to see. I think it's good for the high school kids, especially in basketball, because there's so few spots anyway. So hopefully some of the high school kids that aren't, the Cooper Flags and the 5 of 5 stars will get an opportunity to go somewhere and play. And what we've learned from the transfer portal is if you go somewhere and play like Iona, you may end up like Walter Clayton and be the star player of a national championship team in the SEC. So anything can happen if you just get in, and hopefully some of these high school kids can get in.
Well, here's what I think also is going to happen a little bit, Casey. I think when you take older guys, what do you have? You have more of a sample of what they delivered, what they were, how good they were. So you can project that, okay, they fit my team. They can play this role. Well, you're going to have less of a sample size. And I'll use the UNF guys, for example. Indiana got 2 UNF guys. They got Josh Harris, who's a freshman, and they got Josiah Miles, who finished his sophomore year.
They also got a guy from the Gators, too,
so
by the way.
they've got – they've really gone heavy in the transfer portal. Who did they get?
Sam Alexis.
You remember? From the Gators? Oh, Alexis, that's right. Because Aberdeen went to Kentucky, right?
Aberdeen
I think he went to Kentucky. Yep. So, but just take those UNF guys, and I thought the way UNF finished this season that it wasn't great. And I was like, oh, this is probably good for UNF because I think they're going to be able to keep these guys for another year. Well, they lost 4 guys. I mean, talking about over $500,000 for guys going to Indiana. But do they really have the resume to be at Indiana? Indiana trying to flip their program, trying to build it back up. Is it a smart move? I don't know, man. But you have a small sample, which means you can miss big, I think, in the portal. You could already miss big. Ask Mike Norvell at Florida State about it. You can hit it, you can miss it. But I think you bring the likelihood of missing in the portal probably to higher percentages once you take that COVID year away and you don't have as many older guys, as much runway, as much sample of how that person will fit in your system. You've got to now take a bit of a shot on a UNF guy that, okay, Josh Harris, does he fit in the Big Ten? Is he really going to play? Is he developed enough? Another year at UNF would have been better. I'll go get the older guy from Iona that's going into his 6th year. Well, you don't have that option anymore is the point. So I think this really puts some onus on the team building aspect, this GM aspect of what college sports has become at the highest level. Todd Golden, your guy, looks pretty good at it. But I think he's going to be tested with it, and all the other coaches are going to be tested by it because that sample size is now going to be less. I think it was easy is my point in the past. I think when you get a 6-year guy, I think that's pretty easy to say, hey, he fits here. I think when you're going to get a 1 or 2 year guy out of a mid-major or a Division II school like some have done, I think that's a lot harder to tell.
Definitely. And listen, dare I say, Brent, that the coaches now have to coach, right? Because the way that NIL is working.
Geez.
When you're
God bless them.
I know they get paid enough; they might as well coach. But you're saying it, it's a race to find guys that you think have talent. The UNF example, could they have played more at UNF? Yes, but would have Indiana been able to get them? I don't want to say as easy as they did, but next year, if those guys play well, then you might have your Kentuckys interested and your Florida and whoever. So Indiana now, I think, is going after the model of, yeah, we could have let them develop more, but we brought in our new coach because they fired their coach and brought in the coach from West Virginia. We think he's going to develop these guys, and they may not be ready for Big Ten basketball on May 30th, and they may not be ready by September 1st, but we're hoping they're ready in January after being here for 6 months and ready to play some basketball.
Yeah, so it's an interesting aspect of it, right? And we'll see, I think the good teams and the big spending teams are still going to be good. By the way, do you see the Lee kid at Florida who they brought in from Princeton?
Yeah.
He's going to make $6 million combined with an NIL, and then he just got an international shoe deal. Have you ever heard of that shoe company?
No, I didn't know that he got a shoe deal. That's pretty dope.
Yeah, $6 million they anticipate he'll make. That's the kind of money college hoops.
That's
there
cool.
Was a guy. Who was the one? Oh, it was the Kansas State. Actually, Matthew Driscoll just went to Kansas State. They got a kid, and I don't remember his name now, but apparently his dad was looking for $4 million. and he didn't get it. So they had to settle on $2.5 million to go to Kansas State.
Wild.
It's just like I think Jeff Goodman tweeted that out, and I don't think I tweeted on top of this one, but I was like, why are we normalizing this statement right now? Like, this can't be a normal statement to say, I didn't get $4 million, but he got $2.5 million to go to Kansas State. This should not be normal conversation for us in college sports. That's ridiculous. All for kids getting something out of the pie, but to say just got $2.5 million.
I mean,
we don't even know if the dude's good.
We don't, and that's part of it. It's almost like trading stock in a way. But to me, looking up the shoe thing and what you're talking about with Xavier Lee, like, that to me is what it's supposed to be, right? Not everybody's, in position to get an international shoe deal, but like, that to me is exactly what NIL is supposed to be. Now, whether it's $3 million, all that's up for debate. But like, that's perfectly designed. Like, this kid, think about this. This kid 2 years ago went to Princeton and was like, I'm probably here for education. And bro is like the starting point guard now for the defending national champions with the international shoe deal. Like, that's like the coolest thing ever for that kid. Like, good for him.
Yeah, it's good for it. Yeah, I mean, listen, you can't hate. I can't hate on the kids about it. I really can't. Hey, speaking of not hating, look at Noah. You know why Noah's going to be good in this business?
He don't take no for an answer.
Stuff.
Yeah,
I gave him he does. I mean, look what the cam he's got with it. He's got the warm up cam going. Literally just out on the field. I wonder if he just stayed there, if they'd even say anything to him.
So you might get the kid killed on a comebacker, but like. If he signed the waiver, then we're good.
Yeah, he'd have to duck. He didn't sign a waiver, so I will say something to him if he stays out there. By the way, that's Logan Summers taking them out from Georgia Highlands College at JUCO, obviously in Georgia. He's from High Springs, Florida, so just outside this area. The only reason I know where High Springs, Florida is because I literally just wrote that address down for Daniel Griffiths, who writes for us on ActionSportsShacks.com. He lives out there.
Oh.
I had no idea where High Springs. I guess that's just outside of Gainesville or something, I think. Or
I still have no idea where it is, so I'm glad you have educated. Listen, I don't know anything about this kid pitching. I'll tell you what, though, I like him because he's number 28. That's the number I wore. Big 28 guy, so I'm sure they were – oh, yeah, I'm sure they were just handing out jerseys, and he ended up with 28. Was probably pissed off about it if I had to guess because that's how I started with 28. But I like it. I think this kid's going places.
Yeah, do you think kids care about the jersey number? I mean, they want one, right? They'll request. Usually get like, hey, like Ty's always been a big number 5 guy, but like he got number 6 up in Elmira where he's playing. They start tonight, by the way. But I don't think like he was like, oh, man. Like, I don't think he cared.
Oh, no, I think you're wrong. I think it's the biggest, most massive deal. It is more important than actually playing well, in my opinion. You got to have the number that you want. I think it's a huge, massive deal.
So Noah's continuing to show us a little bit in warm-ups. Just a long warm-up, too. I mean, how many pitches this kid got to throw in warm-ups?
Bro, he's got to get loose.
Softball, in softball, they literally throw like 3 pitches and then we play. Like, I don't get the 8 warm-up pitches in between innings. Like, it's one of those things that should end. I came up with the genius idea that if I was a star outfielder, I'd put 8, 9 baseballs autographed in my pocket, and I'd throw them to people in the stands in the big leagues, and I'd become like one of the most popular players. Really good idea. Actually, Acuna, no, not Acuna, your guy, Randy Arozarena, he actually does it. Like, I literally saw him do it. Like, he had more baseballs in his pockets. I have no idea how he fit them in. But it's a good idea. I've got another good idea for baseball in a sport that I love. Like, let's go. Stop the in-between stuff. Like, we're ready. You don't need to throw it across the diamond 15 times. We're already killing arms. We don't need 8 warm-up pitches in between. Let's just play.
No, this is listen. Now, you kind of go back and
got some equipment issues.
I mean, what can you do there? Let's figure it out there behind the plate. But listen, your ideas, they go like one really bad and then one decent. And then occasionally there's another bad one. But then occasionally you come up with a good one. And listen, I like this one a lot. This is a quick one. In Perfect Game one time, we were playing a team that had no business being there. And I was pitching. And I threw 3 warm-up pitches, and I was like, okay, let's go. And the umpire was like, we can't. Like, you got to throw. I'm like, I'm not gonna. Like, I'm going to stand here and wait until you go. And he was like, legitimately, this happened. And the second base umpire was like, I will have to throw you out of the game. Like, you have to throw the warm-up pitches. I'm like, I don't. Like, that's what you're missing. Like, I do not have to throw the warm-up pitches. And then eventually I just stood there, and they let the batter hit. And I was like, cool. And, like, I did that for 4 straight innings because, like, we were trying to get on with it. Like, the team knew they weren't supposed to be there. We were trying to get done with it. But the umpires were like, it was like an international crime. Like, you got to throw the warm-up pitches. I'm like, I don't. I'm just going to throw 3 and stand here.
Oh, so it's not a rule. Like, you don't have to throw the warm-up pitches, right?
They were pretty adamant, or they really wanted me to throw the warm-up pitches. I did not, and it was fine. I didn't get thrown out. But, like, when I first, like, went on strike of the warm-up pitches, they were very upset. Which makes no sense.
I'll have to ask Fran about that, because I've never heard of that. But, you know, I'm trying to think here as we're talking out loud. And the reason why there are so many warm-up pitches and time in between is basically for Major League Baseball and TV timeouts, right? Like, you've got to get your 2.5-minute commercial in, so you've got to at least have some time in between innings to do that. Softball, we don't see that. They're not worried about TV, although finally Major League Baseball, nice job. I just said this, I think, recently on the show, and Major League Baseball finally got behind softball, and they're going to help, much like the NBA did with the WNBA and much like the NFL's doing with flag football. They are going to help promote the sport of softball. Job well done. But we don't see it in that light like we see it on TV in the College Softball World Series recently, but I think softball didn't get sucked into that, right? Where you've got to do everything the way the big leaguers do it. You didn't have that in softball. They just did everything the smart way. They sped up their game and throw seriously like 3 warm-up pitches and say, let's go. Mm-hmm. We haven't caught up to that at the younger levels, I guess. And just to let you know, we do have timeouts here on the show today, but you don't have to wait for us, Coastal Collegiate Baseball League. We won't make you throw.
Perfect. Yeah, no, that's
we
great.
We won't make you throw warm-up pitch. But if we start doing games on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network, we will hold up play like we do for the Jacksonville Armada tomorrow.
Yeah, but listen, I'm a big proponent. Just stand there. Like, if you're loose, you're good. Like, and again, this is a kind of a different situation where you got guys that are coming in to get work in, so, like, they're not trying to pitch 6 innings, but, like, I was trying to pitch 7 innings because then I didn't want to play the second game of the doubleheader, and, like, if I pitch longer into the game, I'd be like, Coach, I'm spent. Like, you got to let me sit here. And the warm-up pitches kill that. Like, if your pitch count's really 86, it's not, because it's 8 times 5. Like, you've thrown way more pitches even though they're low stress. It's just stupid. And I think where that comes from in terms of, like, why they want you to throw them is, like, if the opposing left fielder is hitting and he's got to come all the way to the first base dugout, like, I'm going to be out there and warmed up before he's even ready to hit. So, like, I mean, I guess. Yeah. But to me, it's absolutely stupid. And real quick, Brent, since we're on baseball, I want to address something. Clint in the chat said he's going to Rays Marlins next weekend in Tampa, which, shout out. Hope you have a good time. I'm sure it'll be 1,000 degrees. But they're doing, I don't know if you ever saw this, they're, like, doing a Evan Longoria retirement thing, like, 1-day contract deal, and he's going to be a Ray legend or whatever. How stupid on the Rays, bro. You're going to have the greatest Ray of all time, no argument, the best that's ever worn your jersey, and you are going to enshrine him as a legend in Steinbrenner Field. What a mess. Wait a year and do it at the Trop, you bums.
Yeah, why?
Stupid.
They don't have to do it. Boy, that thing's hit well right here. Oh, a nice catch out on the warning track. Sorry to interrupt, but nice little poke by Michael Ray out of Denellen, Florida. Badenoch Community College. Never heard of that one, but good swing. Yeah, that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Why couldn't? What is the latest on the Rays? Are they going to go back to the Trop next year? Is that the plan?
Yeah, I believe they're planning for next year.
Okay, so they could do this next year. Hey, hold off another year. Like, who cares, right? He doesn't care. Yeah, that's a little dumb. And by the way, they don't need to sell tickets right now. Like, they're filling that place up fine because it's only got like 10,000 people.
Yeah, they can get about 8,000 people to show up. Now, in the middle of July, we'll see what it's like. People having heat stroke in that stadium. It's going to be warm, Brent. It's going to be tough out there.
So Noah's, by the way, right near that Hawks dugout, and the Hawks coach is Mark Castle. And so I was thinking of this before we head to a timeout. Like, giving signs is difficult, don't you think? like how, people don't want to admit it, but they practice the heck out of this, giving signs in the mirror, what they're going to come up with, what's simple versus what's not going to get picked up and picked off by other teams. But it's kind of a cool deal being the third base coach and being able to give signals, right? Like, even if you're just pitch calling, the whole face stuff, like here, the phone, oh yeah, right, the chin, like just being able to do that is kind of fun. A softball does take the fun out of that because they just look at the wristband and give a number.
Sure. I mean, listen, there's got to be some pride there from the third base coach to give a signal or two. I'm not going to lie to you, Brett. At no point in time was I like, what they're doing? That's pretty cool. Like, you just kind of say, yeah, that's pretty cool. I've never once considered or been like, what I'd like to do? Give signs at third base. Maybe Hamby, like, that's his dream. I don't know. Big coaching guy. That might be what he's going for. But I'm a big no sign guy. Just if you want to bunt.
Green light everywhere. Yeah. Until you get the 240-pound kid trying to steal second base because he's got the green light. Kaysen Sherling is on the mound from Edward Waters University, by the way. Yulee guy. So he takes the bump for the Turtles here in the fourth inning. 2-0. Turtles lead the Hawks. What were you going to say?
No, I was 240 guy trying to steal base. That was me. I got thrown out every time. I just felt like you were reading from my book of my scouting report. Don't let him steal bases. Yeah. He'll get canned.
No career stolen bases.
0, dog. Not a 1.
0. All right, hey, let's do this. We're going to take a timeout. We're going to actually probably flip around this camera and give you a little better look of the game while we're talking and watching and having some fun on a Friday here at the Coastal Collegiate Baseball League. Triple header. They've got one at 1 o'clock and 4 o'clock and all year as well. So
Noah coach at first right now?
Watching this one today, and we're Noah. Yeah, look, Noah is coaching first. He gave the camera to somebody else. He switched spots.
He went to the coach and said, hey, bro, let me coach a little bit. Can you do my job in video? What a world we're living in.
I tell you, man, he is going to be good in this business. He's already pretty good in the business, but he's going to be really good in the business. Now, what do you do as let's stay with this for a second then.
Okay.
Because what do you really do as the first base coach?
Nothing.
Right? Like why is the first base coach out? You know why the first base coach is out there now? Is to literally get all the equipment when the players get down to first base because they wear like medieval kind of guard.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot of equipment. You got the elbow, you got the knee potentially, you got the ankle, you got the oven mitt potentially if you're going to try to steal some bases. So, yeah, I think the first base coach is there for that. I would also say in my history, as this quickly turns into my highlight reel or maybe low light reel, the first base coach was always there to tell me to get another step, and then I got picked off. So, for what I see, I don't think the first base coach needs to be there at all. So.
A little drop in their foul territory there by the Turtles. That's not a good one. But, that's, because even think about the best way a coach can help you out on the bases, I think, it really comes at second base in baseball, right? Because they'll keep an eye on that shortstop for you. So they'll be like, hey, get another one or get back, or then everybody yells back, all that stuff. But even the third base coach will often do that, not even the first base coach. He's too busy wearing equipment, hands crossed. Like, look at Noah. Like, he's doing nothing.
Not a thing.
I mean, it's just hands crossed right now. He occasionally will clap and cheer.
I have seen him clap twice, so that's true.
He doesn't even have an oven mitt ready to go.
Here we go.
We're going to play at first here from short.
Oh, what a pick!
What a nice pick.
Woo! That's good stuff.
I mean, that's a way to make up for it. Yeah, I mean, the kid just dropped like an easy pop-up, and then he makes a hell of a pick. Gotta love baseball. He's a Jacksonville guy, David Taylor, at the University of South Carolina Union. Nice play. Way to bounce back, young man. That was a heck of a play. Pick. There were some picks that are like, okay. Now, that thing was like a handcuff pick. That's a tough one.
That was beautiful. Great camera work right there to get a good, I don't know who, the first base coach, I guess, is on camera. Thank you for doing Noah's job while Noah stands there just doing nothing. I saw Noah maybe give a little safe sign there for a second. I think the first base coach is good for that as well. But
did he?
Yeah, I think he was dead wrong because he's out. All in all, good stuff right here from the Action Sports Jacks crew as Noah still has his arms crossed.
Okay. Yeah, we've hired somebody else. Nice catch over there in foul territory in left field on that one. You probably can't see it based on this camera angle, but 2 outs now for the Turtles. I think I just came up with another idea. Whether you're going to like this or not, I'm not sure. But we talk about robot umps. How about just a robot first base coach? And then you have, like, the robot first base coach have, like, things to hang. Like, he has the equipment hanging off him. It's like a clothes hanger, like where you can grab the oven mitt. You can put the ankle, whatever, the forearm guard, the this, the that everybody's bundled up with now. So afraid to get hit with a baseball. But maybe a robot first base coach will do the job, and then you don't even have to change him out. It's good for both teams.
Yeah, I'm thinking you might even be thinking too far. Again, this is a bad idea. I think you just need a glorified bucket. Just put the stuff in the bucket. You're good.
Just a bucket.
Maybe put a speaker in there.
A
to
bucket?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you got to close it up in case so the first baseman doesn't go get a foul ball and step on it. So it's got to be like a trap door type of thing, where
cool.
you can close it up and it blends in with the grass and the turf. Like you could do something like that, but
or it just becomes part of the game, like the pitch clock. Watch out for the bucket.
Watch out for the bucket. One other thing that drives me nuts about the first base coach sometimes, and this drives me nuts about even collegiate baseball, softball, high school baseball, softball. I think coaches, and they have a right to think this way, but I think they're dumb for thinking this way. Like, they think everybody is aware of the situation all the time, right? They think, hey, these kids have been playing ball for a long time, so they know how many outs there are. They know freeze on a line drive. They know, hey, you might want to go home with this ball because it's a tie game. But I can't. There's a lot going on for coaches. Like, sometimes you're calling pitches. You're lightly staffed at this kind of level, and I don't think they remind players enough of the situations. Like, I would have somebody, if I'm a head coach, I'm having somebody that, every play is reminding, 15 to 22-year-olds what the hell is going on in every play.
Yeah,
because I just don't think, because because I can't stand when those things get messed up, but I really think, we take it for granted that people know the game and situation. Meanwhile, you got a high school sophomore out there at first base thinking about, where he's going to take his girlfriend this weekend. Or he just failed a test. He is not thinking that it's a 2-2 game in the 7th inning and I should play in and I got to come home with a runner on third instead of just go tag first base. That's a common mistake. I've seen a lot of high school ball. So I think you've got to have the guy, gal, whatever, be the constant educational piece of what we're doing with the softball or baseball. So that's going to be a staff member of mine if I ever coach.
Okay, I like that. But here's the thing, Brent. You got to realize, and you should know this. You played high school baseball. The main part of high school baseball, in my opinion, is from wherever you're playing. If you're in the outfield, this is tough. But if you're in the infield, part of the tradition is looking in the crowd, be like, "Who out here tonight?" Okay, I see you. All right, how we doing? You can't be thinking about where you throw the ground ball. Who cares? Just field it and do something with it. But you got to know who's in attendance, and you got to keep track of who's leaving, who may come late, who had car trouble, what they got in the concession stand. High school baseball is not for figuring out where to throw it, Brent. It's to see who's there to watch you play. I believe that fully. That's not a joke.
I totally agree. I totally agree with you, and that's why you got to remind them. Hey Joe, just so you know, that's the winning run over there. And this is the 7th inning.
That might be actually a good point.
The players of that. So for exactly the reason you just said, because the girlfriend could be sitting in the front row somewhere, or even worse, to your point, not have shown up. Uh-oh. That could be even worse.
Not good.
2-0. The Turtles are beating the Hawks. Turtles at the plate in the bottom of the 4th inning. I think Alex Calabro is now taking the camera. He's usually probably pretty good in front of the camera. Noah back out there in the first base coaching box again.
We're never going to get invited back
he's
to
first
this.
base. He's like the remember the automatic QB you had in the backyard? You just play quarterback for both teams. Noah's the automatic first base coach for both teams.
Proving the point.
Doing,
exactly.
Right now. Yeah, so it's a good view down there. And let's see, I'll give a shout-out to who we've got at the plate. Gabe Guidry from Sulphur, Louisiana.
Wow.
How about that? Louisiana guy.
Here we go.
And he's got a base knock right up the middle. That one's going to get through. So good piece of hitting. And Louisiana guy ain't afraid of the heat here in Jacksonville. That's for damn sure.
This kid has got to be so confused with Noah
I've been
over
to Louisiana. It's hot. Yeah, he's like, who are you?
He's
so
like,
now
you're not
Noah
the coach.
Takes the ankle guard.
Wait.
He's like, why am I – oh, no, see, he doesn't even need to because I think Guidry's a catcher. So he's coming out of the game.
Nice.
Or a pinch runner. Another good summer rule that probably could be a rule everywhere, right? Like, is that a rule in college? No, you can't run for the catcher in college.
You can't run for the catcher. No.
But you can in summer ball. You can in – I think you can in high school.
I think
you can in high school.
You used to be able to run.
And that's a smart rule.
Yeah. I'm a big believer.
Yeah. I like that rule.
How about in Casey?
Now, like, I would build my team to have, like, some fast freaking dude running for my catcher. You don't always
definitely.
get that. You kind of get what you dealt with in high school.
Yeah, without a doubt. You need to get a sprinter on the team just for that.
I wouldn't mind I don't think I'd mind that if it was in the college game. I don't think I'd love that if it was in the pro game. The run for the catcher stuff.
No, you're making millions, bro. Yeah, you run. Run. I don't care who you are. Run.
But, okay, I got one for you, though. How about run for Ohtani?
No, Ohtani's
now,
fast.
Ohtani, you're not going to probably. Well, I know, but let's just say he wasn't fast, right? Ohtani can steal a bunch of bases. But if he wasn't fast, don't you want to protect him if you're Major League Baseball? He's the only pitcher running. Like you remember the pitchers used to wear those starter jackets when they would run in the National League? Well, they don't do that anymore because of the DH. So I would think it would be an acceptable rule to have somebody run for your pitcher if you want to take away the risk of injury, specifically for a guy who's doing something that nobody else is doing in the sport.
I mean, heads up over there, Noah. Be careful. But, yeah, I mean, that's a big reason why I didn't like the pitchers hitting. Because you remember, you probably were here when this happened, but you remember when Chin-Ming Wong slipped on the bat in Houston? You remember that story?
Yeah, I do.
Like, that was the main reason I think pitchers should not be hitting and running bases. So, like, I mean, from a league protecting standpoint, yes, I could see that making a lot of sense, but because Ohtani's Ohtani and speed's a big part of his game, that would never happen.
By the way, this is a double, maybe a triple. It's going to score another run. Let's see, we got to play at third. No, we don't. And so that's a triple for Casey Morgan out of Daytona State College. Probably watched them play a little bit. So, yeah. And then FSCJ. Oh, no. Daytona State. So he's a Daytona Beach kid. And just hit it right on the line for an RBI triple, and it's a 3-0 lead for the Turtles. Did you notice if Noah did a good job sending them around the bases? That was an easy one.
I'm pretty sure Noah did nothing. Unconfirmed because we were following the ball, but it didn't feel like he was giving the big wave around. Oh, apparently he was. Okay, he's a little bit upset about. He was giving the wave around. All right, that's what you like to see. First base coach really making it happen there. So you love to see it.
All right, let's do this. Take a time out. We'll come back. We'll talk a little more sports and show you a little more of this Coastal Collegiate Baseball League, Hawks and Turtles, on a Friday afternoon, or really morning still, getting ready for the afternoon here in Jacksonville. We've got a busy weekend. Action Sports Jax prime time, Fox 30 at 10:30, CBS 47 at 11:30, 2 half-hour shows. We'll have a bunch of stuff, including Jaguars content. If you missed Emmanuel Agba or Rayon Lane conversations, we'll have that for you this weekend. We've got a couple of cool summer projects we're planning as well on Action Sports Jax primetime. And next week, got a Travis Hunter interview sit-down coming for you all next week here on the Brent Austen Show and also on our TV stations, CBS 47, Fox 30, social media, on the website. It'll be everywhere next week as the Turtles are about to score again and take a 4-0 lead. We'll be right back. Most of us know how to throw. But you need to know what to throw. I'm not talking about footballs, baseballs, softballs. We're talking about those items you need to recycle. Republic Services explains it easy. Recycling simplified. 1. Know what to throw. When in doubt, throw it out. 2. Empty, clean, and dry those materials. It takes an extra minute, but it makes a big difference. And 3. Don't bag it. This makes the recycling process faster and more efficient. This is a look at the Republic Services North Florida Recycling Center. You can make this process even more efficient. By utilizing those 3 steps, Republic Services can help you become a better recycler in your home. Learn more at recyclingsimplified.com.
For the game day hustle and every day in between, juggling my show Jag Social to going under the Friday night lights and a social life, it's a daily tournament. But this ride, MVP status. The all-new 2024 Lincoln Nautilus isn't just my car, it's my personal locker room, office on the go, and VIP lounge on wheels. Let's talk tech. My profile remembers everything from customizing my dash display to setting the ambient lighting and my signature scent. And wireless charging, essential for live tweeting scores. Whether I'm packing for a beach day with friends or heading to the gym, there's space for every passion. After dominating all day, this becomes my recovery zone. The massage feature is like having a personal PT on call. Life's a non-stop game, but with this ride, I'm always on my A game. The 2024 Lincoln Nautilus. Drive your passion.
You trust CGC to make your water great, and now you can trust CGC with your plumbing needs as well. Fast, convenient scheduling, licensed and insured. A quick call away at 904-552-1242.
You never know when you're going to have an issue with a shower, toilet, or maybe it's a sink that sometimes is easy to fix. All right, let's be honest. I'm not fixing anything. I'm totally staging this because when I have a plumbing problem, I call CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing.
Trained professionals, transparent pricing, customer satisfaction. Small problem or even a bigger issue. Save 10% off any water heater, plus no trip charge. The experts with 25 years of experience at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing can do it all. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. For a limited time, CGC is waiving the trip charge on all related plumbing calls. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1432579.
If you look good, you feel good. And the medical professionals here at Ponte Vedra Vein and Aesthetics are here to make you feel your best. I'm on camera every week, and I have a confession to make. I'm not always confident in my appearance. Can you see my dark circles? Is my makeup highlighting my fine lines instead of covering them up? I question it all. So when I found out about the wide variety of procedures here at Ponte Vedra Vein and Aesthetics, I knew help was just one appointment away. Medical Director Dr. Megan Deacon Casey and her board-certified physicians have been using the latest in cutting-edge technology for the last 10 years, giving men and women their personal confidence boost. From Botox, fillers, Morpheus 8, and so much more. The hardest part was figuring out what I needed. Thankfully, the medical team walked me through what would work best for me through a free consultation. Come look and feel your best with the team here at Ponte Vedra Vein and Aesthetics. Visit them at one of their 2 locations, either over in Ponte Vedra or on the south side.
Welcome inside the Armor Guard exterior and gutter helmet showroom. There's a lot going on, like glass exteriors, replacement windows, and down there we have the retractable screens and awnings, plus hurricane protection. Let's talk more about those gutters, and to do that we bring in Kevin. He's the owner, he's the expert. Why Gutter Helmet?
Well, Gutter Helmet is truly the only maintenance-free product. It lets the trash and debris go on the ground, the water wraps around and goes inside. Unlike filters, they sit on top of the gutters, and the trash and debris build up on top of filters, which requires maintenance. With Gutter Helmet, we're going to keep you off the ladder, the most dangerous thing in your garage. With Gutter Helmet, you'll never clean your gutters again. So get off the ladder and put on the helmet. Gutter Helmet.
Get a free estimate at gutterhelmetofnorthflorida.com. You can also call 904-762-7779 or visit the showroom on St. John's Bluff Road in Jacksonville.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austin Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network.
Hey, there's a look at downtown Jacksonville heading into a beautiful weekend. Love this time of year. It is fun. We can do some fun, different things, which we do with the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network. You can always find it at actionsportsjax.com. The Brent Austen Show, 10 a.m. until 1 p.m. And again, it looks like the weather's going to be okay. We had a tornado down in St. Johns County yesterday. How about that? Doesn't happen very often.
That's crazy.
Noah looked at me funny. No, it was like literally 2 miles from your house. You didn't even know? There's a tornado right there on 9B.
Noah's playing GTA, and it's like real life.
I said this now.
Outside.
Yeah, I said this, and I want to be very like. I don't want this to come across in a bad way. So, here we go. That's the disclaimer.
Okay.
But I said, so I see this that happened. It happened like around 6:45, and then I'm on TV at like 6:50. Maybe it happened. I don't know what time it happened. Maybe it happened at like 5:30, 6 o'clock. But people were talking about it, and Burrish was talking about it, and Corey Sim was talking about it. And so I'm going out to do sports at 6:50 last night, and I was like, man, they showed me the video. I was like, I'm so bummed. I was like, that came so close to my house. Like I could like look out the window and see it. I was like, I want to see it. Like it's on my bucket list is to like see a tornado. Like legitimately, I want to see one.
Are you
now
serious?
It sounds terrible to say because you don't want tornadoes, but yeah, like I want to see a tornado. I would, and so Burrish. Yeah, like I don't want to see a destructive tornado and people die and everything. Like I'm not saying that. I just want to like I'm fascinated with weather and I love the weather. So I really want to, now I say that and my experience yesterday, I go walk usually in the afternoon. I've been going to walk out at UNF. And so they got like the NCAA meet going on. Well, 2 days ago, I'm walking out there, and on my way back, like I got like a half a lap to go, and then I walk back to the station, which isn't very far, but it's it's going to take 10 minutes, and it downpours. Like
good.
I survived the whole afternoon, and it downpours. Like so much so that it's one of those deals where like you're freezing by the end of it, and everything is just soaked. Shoes, underwear. All of it. So luckily I had a change of clothes in the car because I prepared for this stuff. But so then yesterday I'm walking and I'm surviving the rain. It starts to sprinkle on the way back. I'm like, okay, I'm cool. I'm going to make it. This doesn't look like a downpour. And then, holy cow, did we get some lightning. It was lightning. And I'm like, I cannot get struck by lightning and die right now. Like, this is not good. Why didn't we tag up?
Thought we did. Oh, this kid.
Oh,
he's safe.
He's safe.
Woo! What a
safe.
slide!
So, Noah thinks he should have been out. So now we're going to start heckling the umpire. But I think he was safe. Huh?
I think he was
I
safe.
don't know. We got debate up here. We need some instant replay here. I thought he was safe. I thought it was a pretty good call. Now, for not tagging up immediately, I would have probably called him out. But
nah, the slide made up for it. That's a heck of a slide.
It was a heck of a slide. Anyway, now it's 5-0. But so last night, I'm like, we got big lightning, Casey. Like it's big lightning, and I'm still 7 or 8 minutes away from the station. And I'm like, this is stupid. Like, why? How did I get trapped in this? And I literally started like running back to the station.
Oh, I would have paid for that.
So I was like, yeah. And no, it wasn't like running frantically, but I'm like, I'm going to move a little bit. So you know what goes through my mind? I'm like, all right, so if I'm like in the parking lot now and I get struck by lightning, what an idiot I was for running because I wouldn't have been there at that point.
Yeah, you caught up with the lightning. No, I hear that. That's reasonable.
Like those are the things that start entering my mind.
Sure.
I was like, I should have walked, but if you got hit by lightning like where you were walking, you would have been like, I should have ran. Like, see, I mean, life's about decisions and which ones you're going to make. But, this lightning was legit. I was like, oh, shoot, man, this is shouldn't be out here. And it was close. Like, the lightning was really close. And over there near UNF, there are some trees. Lightning likes trees. Mm-hmm. Not good. So anyway, we did survive, obviously, and make it back. I don't think I have to tell you that. But back to the tornado stuff real quick. Okay. It is on a bucket list. I would like to do some level of storm chasing. And so Burrish said, hey, when I'm retired, we'll go storm chasing. And we'll go out to the plains. And I was like, I'm in. Like right now, sign me up. I'll take 2 weeks vacation to do it. Like that would be, not everybody's vacation is to go see a tornado, but I think I would do that. And then he's like, hey, we can tie it into some sports stuff. And he's like, yeah, we'll go to the College Softball World Series in Oklahoma City, and then we'll go to the College World Series in Omaha. So we have got it figured out. We are tracking and chasing storms to see a tornado in the summer of whenever Mike Burrish retires. and we're going to go to the College Softball World Series and then end up in Omaha at the College Baseball World Series. What a trip.
That's cool. Like, I'm not mad at the storm chasing idea. I'm mad at the dumb tornado idea. But if you are telling me that you're going to go chase it, I'm more in than just looking out the window and being like, oh, tornado bucket list. Like, I could get into the storm chasing. I seen Twister. That movie's pretty dope. I see it in real life would be something.
Yeah, I do feel like it's one of those things where I'm like, I really want to see this, and then I'd be scared out of my mind.
Probably.
Once I saw it.
That's why you need Burish.
Yeah, that's why you need Burish for the safety part of it. And, he said obviously it's dangerous to do, but he said it's more and more dangerous now because there are a bunch of people doing it. Like, and some are more trained than others, but everybody wants to capture that video and then sell it to, like, the Weather Channel or something like that, or make a name for themselves, or YouTube, whatever. And I'm guilty of it, man. I'll click on some of that stuff. Like, I just think it's fascinating that how this stuff works. Like, the tornado that kind of spawned up yesterday, it was a pretty quick one, and It was not nearly. I think there was a little bit of damage, but nothing like, I didn't see cars flying. Is my point. It was right next to the highway. But man, some of those things that you see in the Midwest and the plains and all that, holy cow, that is like just devastating stuff. So they are, like, I don't celebrate that part of it. I just think they're just a fascinating part of, it's kind of like hurricanes. We get them around here, and it's like, when the buildup of a hurricane is so built up, and you're usually like, that was it. Like, where we often live is like, that was it. But then you're like, I really don't want to know the other side of it. Like, I flirted with it. I saw a 65-mile-an-hour wind or an 80-mile-an-hour wind, but you don't have to show me the other side, like that's coming off Mexico Beach a few years ago and all that devastation. Right. So there's like this balance that if you could see it without really seeing it, I think would be at least kind of fascinating. But I've really never seen a tornado. Saw a water spout one time. Actually, we were playing Stream Song on the other side of Florida, and we think it was more of a water spout in the distance, so you could see the funnel. But those are like a skinny funnel, not really like, didn't feel like, oh, I saw a tornado. Like, I think we kind of did, but it was like kind of did. Not really did.
Sure.
So, anyway, I don't know if that makes sense or not. Like, is there anything like that you like to kind of see, but you're not really sure you like to see? Like, maybe for you it's aliens.
Oh, dude. I can't explain to you how much I want to see aliens. Like, and now granted, in the face of an alien, I'd probably be terrified. Like, I'm not going to lie, but like the lead up right now, I feel comfortable saying, like, if they were in the parking lot, I would be thrilled until I'm probably face to face with them. Cause like, if they're bigger than me, then I'm concerned. If they're ET sized, I feel pretty decent. Like, not that I'm assuming I have to fight the alien, but like just for scared and intimidation purposes, aliens. I'm very fascinated by that. Close second, though, I would be super interested to be, the planes that fly in the hurricanes, like way off when they're in the water.
Oh, yeah.
I am very intrigued by the idea of that. I think it'd be super cool to like be in that craziness of like flying into it, and then when you get in it, it's calm. Like, I think that'd be really cool to see. I do think I would potentially pee myself while we're flying in, though. So, like, you know what I mean?
That's exactly where I was going with it. It's David Arroyo grounds out, by the way, as we're showing you the Turtles and the Hawks. Turtles 3 runs scored in the fourth and take a 5-0 lead as we are now in the 5th inning of this Coastal Collegiate Baseball League. This game kind of cruising along right now, knock on wood, as they play 7 innings, part of a triple header. So staying on time isn't a bad idea today here at the Bregan Baseball Complex and Fort Family Park. But yeah, I know exactly what that would actually be a cool one. That'd be really cool, but you're like, oh my gosh, why did I sign up for this type of thing? Yeah, like I could see that. I think it's there's something in our psyche, right? There's something about like the human conscience or something that likes that. As many people think that's why we like NASCAR for a while, or people like NASCAR in general. It's like they don't like the part that cars are going around in circles. They like the fact that at 200 miles an hour, one can go flying through the air and cause a 36-car pileup. Like, that's actually why people peek in on NASCAR, which is
weird.
weird.
A little bit of that, for sure.
but also true, right? So I think we all have that. All right, speaking of we are all over the map here on a Friday, which is cool. I kind of like that about Fridays. Friday Fun Day here on the Brent Austen Show. The Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network. Simply watch this and the game, by the way. Tell your grandparents, your siblings, people out of town. You can watch the Turtles and the Hawks right now on actionsportsjacks.com. We're showing some live action. NHL playoffs, real quick. Panthers, I know you don't like them.
Hate 'em.
Oilers, is this the time the Canadians finally get a Stanley Cup for the first time in almost 20-plus years?
So real quick before I say that, I could only imagine people telling their grandparents that they could watch the Turtles and the Hawks on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network. Do you know how confused those people would be turning that on to see humans and not like Turtles and Hawks? So I just hope there's some old people flipping it on right now.
So when like SEO is like kind of this big phrase, right? Like when you put things out in the digital world, so you're suggesting right now that we put in the title Turtles, Hawks, and also tag hashtag National Geographic for this to get more views on this baseball game.
I am saying we take the Action News Jacks approach in all caps. Watch now, Turtles and Hawks live stream in St. Johns County or wherever. And I think you will get some people to tune in.
I'm going to try.
I think people will be like, wait a minute, where are the snapping turtles? Because I was expecting to see birds versus turtles fighting right here in Jacksonville. But the actual question you asked me, which also...
So I should put, watch now, Turtles versus Hawks.
Watch now, Turtles versus Hawks facing off in whatever part of the world we're in. Jacksonville, St. John, wherever you are.
From Jacksonville.
Yeah. I think you'll get some people, some animal lovers. I think you might get PETA to catch on and be like, hold on a second. There better not be Hawks fighting turtles in Jacksonville because we're going to have a serious problem then. But, yeah.
That's awesome.
In terms of the hockey, and somebody asked in the chat earlier, I desperately hope it's not the Panthers. I hate the Panthers with everything I have in me. I do think it would be somewhat fascinating if Florida were to win 4 straight cups within the Panthers and the Lightning. So I think that would be a shot at everywhere else that's cold that plays hockey that think it's their thing, and as it turns out, it's a Florida thing. But I think Edmonton's better. I really do. Like, Florida is deeper. Edmonton has more star power, and last year their stars didn't show up enough to get in this position. I think if their stars show up, Skinner's been really good. So I think Edmonton gets it done, and maybe that's just me hoping because I hate the Florida Panthers with everything I got.
Yeah, I don't really care who wins. I think I'd like to see Edmonton win, not for the Canada thing, but I think because, I mean, you got the best player in the game. You'd like to see that guy get a cup, right? So, and I don't care about the again, I don't care about the Panthers. Like, it's fine. There's no state of Florida pride in it for me, whatever. But I went down a rabbit hole this morning
Number 18.
because it's just amazing. I think it might be one of the most amazing statistics in sports that Canada hasn't won a cup since 1992.
Yeah.
1992 doesn't seem like that long ago to me. 1992 is now a long time ago. We're talking almost 35 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
That Canada, like where hockey is so big, hasn't won a Stanley Cup. And the crazy part of that, this is the rabbit hole I went down. And I almost went even further down, but I didn't. In the 60s and 70s, Canada won 14 out of 17 cups in one stretch between Toronto and Montreal, and I think Calgary was in there as well. In the 80s, they won 7 years in a row. The Gretzky-Edmonton years combined with the Canadians. They won 7 cups in a row, a Canadian franchise.
Jeez.
Since like 1992, when the last time Montreal, by the way, was the one that won, in 92, the Anaheim Mighty Ducks won a Stanley Cup. They don't exist. An expansion team that is really new in expansion, and the Las Vegas Knights have won a Stanley Cup. And what you just said, the state of Florida has won 4 cups, and it might be a 5th. Mm-hmm. The state of Florida has won 4 Stanley Cups in the last 33 years. The country of Canada has won none.
That's wild. That is a wild thing.
That makes no sense.
It doesn't. It
like
does
that makes
not.
zero. Like I'm not sure there's anything else in sports that makes less sense statistically.
Yeah, it would be like if the Toronto pick your NFL franchise, they get a team and they won the Super Bowl for like 3 years. Be like Toronto's won more than the United States. Like it makes no sense at all for hockey. Listen, I'd be fine if Edmonton broke that curse because again, like you said, McDavid, Draisaitl, they're two of the best in the sport. Nugent Hopkins has been there forever. So there's I think a lot of good stories with that team. It'd be good for Canada, and most importantly, I would like for a Canada team to break that curse and it not be Toronto or Montreal because that's where everybody goes to. Because like Edmonton, Vancouver, they're always kind of second in that conversation, which is wild because Edmonton had Gretzky and now they have McDavid, and they've had bigger players in the other two organizations. But if someone's going to do it, I just hope it's not Toronto. And the good news is Brennan will not be your Toronto Maple Leafs this year. Maybe Edmonton will get it done.
Yeah. I did have Edmonton in the Stanley Cup final, so I got that going in my predictor pool, but I also I had Toronto, and they couldn't get the job done.
You went
Riley
all
Barker
Canada?
on the bump right now for the Hawks. Yeah, I did. I was thinking I was waving the Canadian flag. I was like, hey, let's go. And Edmonton actually delivered. Riley Barker from South Georgia State Junior College. He's a St. Augustine guy on the hill right now for the Hawks as they trail 5-0. We're in the fifth inning. Coastal Collegiate Baseball League, and if I get a number at the bat, it's I'm not in a great spot to get the number.
23.
23 it is? Mm-hmm. Oh, look at you. Michael Ray. We already mentioned Michael Ray. I have not heard of one of the cool things about like covering signing day and like these kind of things. I have not heard of this junior college, Badenoch Community College. It's spelled B-A-Y, then D-E, then separate word N-O-C. I don't know where that is.
Huh,
I've never heard of it. This young man's from Dunellen. So Badenoch Community College.
Nice.
But I've never heard of it. So
shout out to the Fighting
he is
Badenoch.
up to the plate right now. I don't know what they are, the Fighting whatevers.
Let's
we
find
can throw
out.
another animal name in there, though, and get our National Geographic people watching.
Peter
2-2 is the count with one out in the top of the fifth. And we'll hang for this at bat. And then how about we catch up on a break? Because I think we are a little bit late on the breaks today. And
whoa, it's in Michigan.
That's what talking about tornadoes will do. Oh, really? It's up in Michigan. No wonder why I haven't heard about it.
What is their mascot?
He's playing some junior college ball up in Michigan. Does it say we're in Michigan?
If this is the right thing, Escambia, Michigan.
I don't know where Escambia, Michigan is.
Hold on, this might not be the right thing.
I think it's the right thing because I can't imagine there are two Badenochs. A little Oppo power right here. Is that going to find a hole in the gap? Oh, yes, it is. That's a double off the fence. Nice play out there in center. Good effort. But
they're the
just
Norse.
couldn't come up with it. And so the Norse. The Badenoch Community College Norse. Who else is a Norse? Northern Kentucky.
I'll tell you who else is a Norse.
Kentucky's the Norse.
I think. My buddy was the tight end for Luther College in Iowa. They're the Norse, baby.
Why is the Norse a good nickname, a mascot name?
I think it's terrible.
Seems a little goofy.
Catcher number 21, Gabe Lotion.
Hey, if this was the Friday Night Zone Blitz, we'd go picture-in-picture on the commercial. We didn't plan for that, though. So anybody watching the Turtles and the Hawks play, it's actually a baseball game, and you'll be able to see more of it when we come back on the Brent Austen Show. We're in the fifth inning. The Turtles lead the Hawks. First game of a triple-header with the Coastal Collegiate Baseball League. Hey, what other summer league is doing this around the country? See what you get here in Jacksonville? Go check it out. ccbljax.com is the place to find out more information and how you can participate next summer here in Jacksonville and call it home for a summer where it's a beautiful day right now in Jacksonville. Feels really good. It's not even hot. And you don't say that very often here in the summer in Florida. Noah's looking at me funny. It's not hot. It's not hot. No, we're in the shade. So we can tell everybody it's not hot. Not nearly as hot as it was earlier in the week, at least. We'll be right back on the Brent Austen Show.
There's a saying in sports, you can't win them all, but you can win a lot with good folks on your team. Like that one painter, First Coast. It's tough to beat the sun in Florida, so your home fades. It's tough to beat that HOA when they come calling. Beat the sun, beat the HOA with that one painter, First Coast. And it's a good time to do it. Less rain to work around, and painting in mild temperatures is perfect. After all, the paint bonds to the surface so much better. Give that one painter First Coast a call at 904-417-3557 or look them up at first-coast.thatonepainter.com. Fast estimate, guidance on color and HOA requirements, and the highest quality job you'll find anywhere. Be a big winner in your neighborhood with that one painter First Coast on your team.
People helping people. It's at the core of what Alive Credit Union is all about, and it's been that way for over 70 years. From the start in 1954 to today, the mission remains to inspire financial wellness and give you a financially fit lifestyle. Alive Credit Union and its employees are committed to not only serving their valued members, but also our community here in Northeast Florida. I had a chance to see that commitment firsthand as Alive partnered with our Action Sports Jacks 24/7 team to bring you Armada men's and women's soccer broadcasts. Inside the 18, it is a shot, and it's a goal! Chloe Chivers! And that connection to the community continues with Alive Credit Union's support of the Police Athletic League of Jacksonville. Alive Credit Union's commitment to our community also involves serving the financial needs of all first responders through the recent merger partnership with City and Police Federal Credit Union. Join the community and become a member of Alive Credit Union today. Find out the many ways you can be inspired in financial wellness at alivecu.coop.
It's fast-paced.
Hands off on first down, and there goes Edward Vander.
High fly.
Wide open receiver. It's caught.
Action-packed. Weekend fun. Fun for the entire family. It's the Jacksonville Sharks.
I feel like anybody could play in this league. It's gotta be like backyard football, right?
Whoa! This ain't the Arena League, Brent. This is the indoor league, and they play defense here.
It's a lot safer to just watch the professionals play. And watching is a lot of fun. A party in the stands at the arena for kids and adults. And it's indoors. Get out of the heat for the summer and watch the Sharks shine inside. Jacksonville Sharks football, season number 15. It's the drive for 5, and it's still alive. Get your tickets at jacksharks.com.
Are you about to graduate high school and haven't decided on what you want to do when you get done? Well, one option is to apply to become a student in the Electrical Training Alliance of Jacksonville. Their program offers structured classroom and online training, along with on-the-job training so that you can earn while you learn. Still not convinced? The folks at ETA Jacks are a tuition-free 4-year apprenticeship program. There is no tuition and no student debt. Just pay for your books and your fees. That's it. Now, speaking of pay, students, they start off making $40,000 per year, including benefits, and they graduate, get this, making over $80,000 per year, including those sought-after benefits. Now, that sounds pretty good to me, and if that sounds good to you, it should check off a lot of boxes. So head on over to etajacks.org and apply by May 15th. Again, the website right here, etajacks.org. Don't wait, apply today.
Grab some friends and go to a restaurant, or head out for a drink and some conversation. Watch your favorite team play on the big screen. Or how about play some games? You can do all of that in one night at Best Bet.
Each location has a different vibe, its own personality, like here at the original Best Bet in Orange Park. When you walk through these doors, everybody knows your name. And here in St. Augustine, it's the newest location. Play some poker. How about the table games? And don't forget about Ace's Sports Bar and Grill. And then there's the Jacksonville location right here on Monument Road. It's the biggest poker room in the state of Florida. Maybe you'll find yourself a seat right here at the final table.
Best Bet, where you can have the best of times. And that makes you always go home a winner. Try any of the 3 locations, and you can always visit bestbetjacks.com.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austen Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network.
And we'll give you a live look at the Turtles and the Hawks as we go to the top of the 6th inning. A couple more frames left. It's 6-0. The Turtles are in white, and the Hawks are in blue. So the Hawks are batting right now. I'll give you my best Noah Schlicksup play-by-play here. As we've got him on the camera. We took him off the mic. He's coaching first base. He's on the camera, doing a little bit of everything. He might be doing a lot here because he's going to be right down the road at UNF in the fall. So might be helping out. It's a small park here at Fort Family and the Bragan Sports Complex. So you can get, we've seen a couple balls to the track and bounce off the wall. It's only $350 to center. So it's kind of a fun park in that way. It's not like cheap stuff, but it also is like, hey, you can get it out of here, which I think is kind of fun. You still got to hit it down the line. It's $315 each way. And I don't, we've got no breeze right now, or not not enough to make an impact on the baseball. But the place looks great. They've got a bunch of high school games here in the spring. They'll have travel ball tournaments coming up in the summer and in the fall. And obviously Coastal Collegiate Baseball League with a handful of teams. They play about 5 days out of the week. And most of the games are here. They'll have some games at JP Small as well. They'll also have some games at Beachside and maybe use another venue or two. But this is a great place to come watch a game. We've got shade right here. That's why we're doing the show from underneath. That's why it feels so nice. And showing you the game as we go. We'll continue to do that. And we might be joined by a couple of players or coach in the last hour of the show. And I'll tell you about these guys a little bit more in between games. The next first pitch is 1 o'clock after this one. And it looks like if the score holds up, we're probably about a half hour or so away from this one being over. Hey, Casey Kurtz, I'm not sure there's a lot to say about the New York Knicks. I think they took care of business and probably, I would say, as expected, right, against Indiana at home. So they force a game 6, but this is elementary, right? I mean, the Knicks aren't making some kind of heroic comeback. They've looked kind of tired and fatigued the entire series. This one was like, hey, one more for the home fans, and kind of felt like Indiana's like, hey, we'll take our chances over the next 2 games that we get you one. So sometimes you feel that in the NBA. That's the way it felt like last night.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that they're going to be able to complete some grand comeback here. Indiana's been really good at home and just really good in general. Good for the Knicks, though, for not pulling a Timberwolves and quitting like they did against Oklahoma City the other night. So Knicks were there. Knicks fought. They played well last night, but do they have enough left in the tank to beat Indiana twice? No, because also in that situation, like Halliburton and Siakam sat the last 10 minutes last night because it was over, and the Knicks still had their guys out there for whatever reason. So I don't know how much that 10 minutes of rest will actually help anything, but I get the vibe that the Knicks are just out of gas and the Pacers are not, and maybe that rest will put them over the edge in Game 6.
All right, so if it ends up being the Pacers and Oklahoma City, what's best for the late? Like Indiana, they're good, but they're just nondescript, aren't they? Like, kind of who cares? Isn't it better if Oklahoma City were to win the championship? In my very casual observance of the NBA,
I would say so, because you've got SGA as the poster boy of the league right now for this playoff run. At least he just won the MVP, so him winning the championship I think would be good for the league. I'll tell you what's not good for the league: TV ratings. When they go from Indianapolis, Indiana to Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, I'm sure they would have much rather had the Knicks be involved there for sure, but that's not how it's going to play out. I think Oklahoma City is somewhat of the darling right now that Indiana is just not. I feel like Indiana's not that likable of a team. Maybe that has to do with Halliburton and his dad and all that stuff, and some people are mad about the Pat McAfee thing that happened the other night that Mellencamp's talking about. They're just not wrap your arms around likable with the Pacers, and I think the Thunder are.
That was wild, right? I saw that. It started to float around. John Mellencamp, Indiana guy, basically put out an apology on behalf of Indiana and Indianapolis, that sorry for booing Knicks fans that were there. It's like, okay, so this is my conspiracy theory now. Okay. All right. So it was McAfee that was kind of he had come in the fourth quarter, right, and did something. Because all the Indiana teams now bring McAfee on the mic like in big games. It seems like is that what happened?
Yeah,
That right.
They gave him the mic, and then he did his McAfee type stuff in terms of sending the Knicks fans home. Yeah.
Okay, follow me here for a minute. McAfee's a big wrestling guy, right?
Massive. Yeah,
wrestling is very scripted.
Very much.
I don't think his shows are necessarily scripted. I think it's pretty genuine what he does, and he's obviously got a big following. He's the biggest guy going. Why do I feel like a thing like Mellencamp and this almost feels manufactured? It's like, hey, we're going to make a beef that really isn't a beef, and it's going to become something. And like now I feel like there's a John Mellencamp album coming out in the next year. Like it just I could see that's immediately what I thought about. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? What is this? This is stupid. Why is Mellencamp putting out an official statement? Who asked for it, number one? Why is it floating around the way it is? Why is McAfee responding to it? And now it's a thing because you can manufacture that stuff, much like I think Stephen A. and ESPN and others manufacture some of their takes to know that the clicks are coming. I don't know. I guess I'm not accusing them of it, but I'm just accusing myself of it. That's where my mind goes when I see something like that over the last couple of days.
It's I think it's a fair thought because McAfee basically cut a WWE promo right there in the arena, so I can understand where that comes from. I truly just think, and I like John Mellencamp, like he's been good to me multiple times before. My parents went to college where he's from and went to the school, so I got no beef with Mellencamp. I think bro is just call it as you see it. He's in the olds these days. Mellencamp's an old, and the olds don't necessarily agree with the stuff Pat McAfee's doing. And I think that's just truly what happened. Mellencamp pulled an olds move and was like, we don't, stand for this, I guess, if you will. And McAfee's like, nah, bro, the olds, we're moving on from that. We don't want the Knicks fans here type thing. So I think Mellencamp just got a little bit agitated as an old person is my take on it. But to be honest, if you told me it was manufactured, I'd be like, you know what? I could see a scenario where that happens.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I start to wonder sometimes, right? And it's not the first time I've wondered this. I've even thought I haven't thought about doing it, but I think you can do it. I think in today's clickbaity world, let's just take something local, right? I feel like you could storyboard something out where Hick and I get in a beef, and you get Twitter going.
This is good.
And you got us and 1010 going back and forth because of it, right? And you just map it out. And you got to take some heat for it. You got to play the role. You got to play the part. But it elevates. It elevates and escalates and even both brands or whatever. So, this was what you do, someday where, Action Sports Jacks and 1010XL are going to merge into something, right? And so this is where you set the table for this for, a 3-month or maybe it's a month-long thing, and eventually that's where you land at. So I've actually, I think I've seen some stuff on Twitter, even locally sometimes, where I'm like, is this real? I'm like, did that dude just say that? Or did someone just say that? And then my mind goes to, all right, we could really have some fun with this, right? You could really, I like so-and-so, but we're going to set the table for this to really look a certain way for the next couple weeks. Now, you think about if we feel like we could do that in Jacksonville. I mean, McAfee's got the sports world on grip,
Sure. Yeah.
He could easily do it with a Mel and just given his wrestling background, his scripting of that kind of sport, and I just feel heck, even the whole Austin thing, we should have probably played the Austin thing up bigger at a time when he got off the radio side and people were like, hey, maybe did they get into something or all that.
Yes.
You could have
should have done that,
storyboarded this thing out, right? Probably should have done it. But again, that's not – I'm telling you can do these things. I'm not a fan of doing these things. I don't think that's what you do. I think in my background, I would think you lose a lot of people on the back end of that, right, if something were to be figured out. but I'm not so sure you do anymore.
No.
Like, I'm just not so sure you do. Like, I think people like this stuff. Like, I think people like that in the moment. I mean, look what we just did with the whole Jags thing and the coaching search and the GM search. What we asked people is, do you like – one time I asked the Yardline Yoda stuff, do you like it? And people were like, yeah, I like having a little bit of info, even if I don't fully know if it's true. I just want something to kind of feed off. And so that's the world we're living in. And I just think it opens the idea indoors to doing something like that that's so manufactured, so premeditated, if you will. And, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. If it does work, it could pay off in spades for a lot of people.
Sure. Listen, I just don't think Mellencamp is probably the number one choice to ignite a fake beef with. You had, Ben Stiller was there, Timothy Chalamet, Spike Lee. I feel like you had all of those options. And I think that's why Mellencamp literally just got mad for no reason. But, listen, I think you're on to something. Here, let me know what you think about this. I think we should go, me and you, go fight Aaron Schachter and Brian Middleton. I think that's what the people need. There was never really any conclusion to that story. It's a little unfair because Brian has a janky heart, so, don't want to accidentally do something there. But I think people would be interested if we did a live fight, me and you and Aaron and Brian. I think people would show up, and then we'd get to win, which is, what we've been looking for this whole time. And, we already did win because what happened to them, exactly my point. But I really like the manufactured beef stuff. If we want to fight 10-10 or you want to fight Hicken, I'm all in. I think we should do this more often, a weekly bit.
Yeah, just a weekly bit, yeah. Maybe it's the way to do it. So the reason you said why would he do it with Mellencamp is the reason why I think it could work.
Because it's just so random?
It's so far out there. It's so random. And to me, doesn't Mellencamp, at least, I don't know, I'm not sure where Mellencamp is politically, all this stuff, because I know everything gets brought back to that. If he tweeted something about this or that, I don't know. But I'm just saying from an observation standpoint of Mellencamp, he seems like a good dude, right? Pretty nondescript. You said you even got his autograph before, pretty cool. I would think that's the view. I mean, small town, man. That's how I view Mellencamp. So Why would there be any beef with Pat McAfee of all people? But I think that's how you do it. You go get something that's nobody would expect this.
That's fair. I mean, I was certainly surprised. Listen, I didn't.
If an album comes out for John Mellencamp in the next year, I'm right.
Yeah, I'll give you that because I don't think Bro actually works anymore ever. But listen, I didn't know it was happening fully, and I was watching the game. And, I saw them panning around, and, they weren't showing Mellencamp. They probably did earlier in the game. But, he was just behind the scores table. I was like, is that Mellencamp? What's going on here? And then, later you saw Triple H. I was like, what is Triple H doing? Oh, Halliburton. Okay, it makes sense. And then, I was on social, and I'm like, McAfee and Mellencamp were going at it. I'm like, what the hell is good? We got bigger fish to fry as a world, and I got Mellencamp beefing with McAfee. Indiana's two, most famous people are yelling at each other. I'm like, damn, could we just not?
Number 9, Nathan Austin.
Yeah, pretty interesting. Hey, one more thing about the stars that you mentioned. The NBA has long been a stars game, right? From Jack Nicholson at the Lakers games to all the stars at Lakers game. And it's usually a Knicks and Lakers thing. And I'm sure, I can't remember as much because I'm not big on the stars, but I'm sure the Bulls and their run and everywhere else, right, that you had people. Heck, I bet even Miami had to have a bunch, right, when LeBron and everybody was down there. So it's long been that. But I don't feel like I remember, other than Spike Lee, I don't remember people going home and away. Chalamet and Stiller and those, they're going home and away. Is that just because the Knicks haven't been in it in so long, so you wouldn't know, you wouldn't acknowledge, you wouldn't remember it? Or is that a more common thing where, if you're a team cheerleader, famous person, you're actually going to the whole thing?
I think so. I think it has to do with not being in it in a long time. Because, I know, obviously, everyone knows Spike Lee, but Ben Stiller's also a diehard. He's been away before. I remember that being a thing. Timothy Chalamet just kind of became famous in the last couple of years. The Knicks have sucked. So I don't really know what his situation was, but I think a lot of that has to do with they just haven't been good. Because also, when you go to the Lakers side, the title the Lakers won was in the bubble, so there was nobody there. I imagine if the Lakers were in it right now, you would see, I don't know if you'd see Jack in Indianapolis, but like I think there would be some Lakers fans definitely courtside in Indiana. And I think it's probably more common with the big teams. They've just been bad for so long. Like I don't think you're going to see Mellencamp courtside, or you didn't see Mellencamp courtside in the Garden. So I guess that tells you what you need to know there.
Yeah, by the way, it's a good place to go get autographs, but if you want in Indiana, you're going to have a lot of guys there.
Not a lot of access at that arena, dog. Speaking from experience, not the best spot.
Yeah.
You know what's? I'll give
That'd
you
be a
one.
good one-stop shop if you could.
I'll give you one that's kind of you wouldn't expect. The Garden with all the famous people and stuff. There's like, I don't know why, because I've never been involved. There's only like one way in and out that like the celebrities take, and it's like a very known spot. Like it's very, very odd. Because like New York, everything just kind of lets out on a sidewalk somewhere, and it's just that at the Garden.
Yeah,
so like
yeah.
there's been legitimately not just autographers, like paparazzi and TikTok live people. Like it's a huge, massive spectacle now. And I've always thought it's weird that like it's more difficult to find or try to get people at the ViStar Arena here in Jacksonville than it is at the Garden. Like it's really weird.
Well, there's two different things on that, though, right? Like, because everybody knows where it's at and that's where they gather, it's probably hard for you to get somebody, too, because there's a lot of action in the one spot.
For sure.
Which I guess makes some sense. All right, hey, we go to the seventh inning, and we go to the noon hour here on the Brent Austen Show. Turtles are leading the Hawks 7-0, and we're not keeping score here on the Brent Austen Show, but we do keep score a commercial break, so let's do that. Action Sports Jax 24/7 Network. We come back for an hour of the show. Right after this, we are live at Fort Family Park, Bregan Baseball Complex on a beautiful day here on a Friday in Jacksonville. When it's time to get a new car for anyone in your family, just remember, nobody but Nimnick, the #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville. Get the latest price breaks on 2023 and 2024 models or the newest 2025 vehicles in the showroom on Phillips Highway, or shop online at NimnickBuickGMC.com 24 hours a day. GMC Sierras, Yukons, and the redesigned Acadias, or get the all-new redesigned line with Buicks. It's nobody but Nimnick, and part of the reason why is this is a first-class buying experience here at Nimnick Buick GMC. You're not just a customer, you're a friend. This is about getting a vehicle that best fits you and getting you on the road, and also helping you and your family down the road. Nimnick has a treating you right guarantee, courtesy, respect, fairness. The most Buicks, GMCs, and Jacksonville's only Car Bravo dealer, nobody but Nimnick. Who has put in the most years and stands behind a better experience? Nobody but Nimnick. GMC. We are professional grade.
If you look good, you feel good, and the medical professionals here at Ponte Vedra Vein and Aesthetics are here to make you feel your best. I'm on camera every week, and I have a confession to make. I'm not always confident in my appearance. Can you see my dark circles? Is my makeup highlighting my fine lines instead of covering them up? I question it all. So when I found out about the wide variety of procedures here at Ponte Vedra Vein and Aesthetics, I knew help was just one appointment away. Medical Director Dr. Megan Deacon-Casey and her board-certified physicians have been using the latest in cutting-edge technology for the last 10 years, giving men and women their personal confidence boost. From Botox, fillers, Morpheus 8, and so much more. The hardest part was figuring out what I needed. Thankfully, the medical team walked me through what would work best for me through a free consultation. Come look and feel your best with the team here at Ponte Vedra Vein and Aesthetics. Visit them at one of their 2 locations, either over in Ponte Vedra or on the south side.
I've been telling you about CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing for a long time now. Their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. We've had a Connecticut water softener and drinking water system in our home for more than 7 years. You can see the difference whether you're washing clothes, the dishes, or what I like to do most, fill this up for some coffee every morning, and mostly all day. Remember, if you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. Right now, you can get a free Kinetico reverse osmosis system with the purchase of a Kinetico Premier softener. The experts at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing will test your water for free and determine your water score. Don't know your water score? CGC will find out and recommend the appropriate Kinetico water treatment solutions so you can improve it. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. Ask about our 90-day love it or leave it guarantee. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Kinetico dealer. Florida license number CFC 1432579.
Empower a future, inspire a dream. It's a bold but simple mission for the Jacksonville Police Athletic League known as Jax PAL. Help the next generation of kids in Jacksonville shape a brighter future. Their after-school programs, teenage leadership programs. There's community outreach.
This has been just an awesome opportunity to be out here with my colleagues and do something good for the community. It's really been an interesting opportunity to just see everybody work together in a way that we don't normally in the office.
And there's sports. There are also ways you can help the next generation with a donation of any kind. Just visit jaxpal.org to get more information. Empower a future, inspire a dream with Jax PAL.
Most of us know how to throw. But you need to know what to throw. I'm not talking about footballs, baseballs, softballs. We're talking about those items you need to recycle. Republic Services explains it easy. Recycling simplified. 1. Know what to throw. When in doubt, throw it out. 2. Empty, clean, and dry those materials. It takes an extra minute, but it makes a big difference. And 3. Don't bag it. This makes the recycling process faster and more efficient. This is a look at the Republic Services North Florida Recycling Center. You can make this process even more efficient. By utilizing those 3 steps, Republic Services can help you become a better recycler in your home. Learn more at recyclingsimplified.com.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austin Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network.
All right, take a look at the scoreboard. We're into the final inning here between the Turtles and the Hawks. National Geographic special, 7-0. As the Turtles have the lead, they've been in control the entire way, and there's one out, and that ball might carry a little bit. No, and I was just talking about the ball not carrying much, and that one does.
No.
Bounces on the warning track and over for a ground rule double, and that is a double for the Hawks as they try to get some runs on the board. Now have second and third. Let me see who that is real quick on my sheet. I think that's Jason Collins. He's a Jacksonville guy, plays at Berry University, and the lefty with a swing that was pretty good there. Ball kept carrying out to left. So second and third, one out for the Hawks. They trail 7-0. And now coming to the plate. Didn't do a lot of homework for this game, Casey. Michael Gunson, Green Cove Springs guy. Plays at Owens Community College. And he'll have a chance to get a couple ribbies.
At least they gave you a roster.
They did. Oh, yeah, I stole the roster from them.
Nice.
Which was kind of nice. And Xavier A-H-R, out of Ottawa University. He's a St. Augustine guy.
Ottawa?
He plays at Ottawa. Yeah.
Like Canada?
How about that? Yeah, Canada has Ottawa University because there's a kid or two, I think, on Ty's team up in New York, which would make a little more sense, right? Because Ottawa's probably not that far. That also goes to Ottawa University. So, and I think they play in the fall up there is what I've been told. They play baseball in the fall in the college system. And I have no idea how many college teams are up there. But Xavier does a little bit of everything. He pitches outfield, first base, third base. He's a utility guy. And he's on the bump, so he's never felt heat like this probably before. Oh, no, actually, he's an St. Augustine guy. He just goes to Ottawa. He's not from Canada. He has felt heat like this before. He probably had never felt cold until he went to Ottawa like that.
Yeah, true.
A lot of baseball, softball up in Canada. Kaylee's team had a couple of Canadian players.
Really?
And good ball, too. They're very good players, yeah. So you see that, and now my ears are perked up on it a little bit more. And so you see that a little bit more and more if you look at some of these rosters from around the country. 2-1 now with 2 outs. And at the plate for the Hawks, number 22, Lawson Perry, is a Ponte Vedra Beach guy, plays at Marion Military Institute. That's a junior college as well. So final out for the Hawks or keep the game alive as they... What happened? Did somebody get picked off? Did I miss this during our conversation?
There's a ground ball that scored a run.
Or did we just not put a score up? Oh, okay. They just didn't put the score up. I was wondering how we got 2 outs, a guy just on third, and no run on the scoreboard. So it's 7-1.
It is.
Wake up in the press box.
Let's get it together up there, folks.
Wake up there.
Comeback's alive.
Come on. Now we got first and third. Comeback is alive. So, anyway, we put a bow on this one. We might have a guest or two in the next hour as well, and that will do it right there, the comebacker for the final out of the game. So that will be the Turtles beat the Hawks 7-1 here in the first game of a tripleheader in the Coastal Collegiate Baseball League. As we show you this, and these guys wrap up this first game going into the weekend. Speaking of baseball, I had a thought. Did you see Chris Sale got 2,500 Ks this week or last night or whatever, and it's he's the fastest to do it.
Really?
And so there are a couple of things that jumped in my mind. One, the fact that he's got 2,500 Ks, because he played for the Sox and he hardly pitched those last couple of years, I was like, wow, like how does he already have 2,500 Ks? And then he's fastest to do it. I was like, dang, he missed like 2+ years, it felt like, in Boston, and he's still the fastest to do it. And we have a sport of baseball that you're not going to see a lot of records broken in terms of durability or innings pitched, complete games, like wins, right? We're never going to have a 300 winner again, it feels like.
No, we won't.
In the sport of baseball. But I do feel like, after thinking about it for a couple moments, the pitching strikeout record, now that is something that we'll have 3,000 strikeout guys, I think. Because everybody strikes out. Like, everybody strikes out in baseball.
That's
so
true.
I think the numbers are crazy high, and I think you'll get a lot of these pitchers that if they can have some durability to them, I think that 3,000 K mark will become attainable in the sport of baseball. And I was thinking about this, Casey. I think the only 2 records, and I'm sure I'm missing some, but the 2 big milestones and marks that you could really see happening a bunch in today's modern game, that and the home run record. And while it seems far-fetched that you can now break that record and guys will hit like whatever one we're giving notice to, Bonds, or the AL record now is what, Judge.
Mm-hmm.
And I think those are possibilities because of the propensity to hit the home run in the sport. I don't think they're going to change every year. I don't think we're going to have 5 guys every generation even getting 3,000 Ks. I just think as the sport moves forward, if it stays the way it is right now, I think you have a chance for those things to at least happen more frequently, where you have so many things in baseball that just are not going to happen. We went from the old days to the modern era to whatever this era is. Like, this is a new era of the sport in that sense.
Yeah, I'm with you on the strikeouts just because, you strike out a ton of guys in 5 innings of work and do that for 20 years. That's a lot of strikeouts. So I'm with you. Strikeouts, I think those are numbers that you can get to or at least be in the conversation of. The Bonds record, I'm not necessarily with you because you legitimately have to be hitting 30 bombs from your rookie year, and nobody's doing that. Even Judge, Judge is great, don't get me wrong. He didn't start being this guy until 28, and at that point it's too late unless you're playing until 50, which he's not going to do. So I think the all-time home run record is going to be extremely tough, and because you have a lot of guys now that they get to the majors fast. I get it, but you would almost have to be a college hitter or even a high school hitter and get called up pretty much immediately and be really good. So that part I think is going to be extremely difficult. I do think, though, the single season records, like you mentioned, Judge, I think that's in play because anybody can, not anybody, but I think it's way more likely to have an unbelievable year than, an unbelievable career for 30 years.
Yeah, I think the single season stuff has obviously a better chance. So I'm not predicting this is going to be crazy. When I saw Sale, though, I was like, I would never have guessed that. Like, that 3,000K mark is pretty legit, right? You're an autograph guy. If you go get 3,000 Ks on a baseball, whoever's in it, that's a pretty legit mark to be able to celebrate, commemorate, all those things. So, I don't know. Just thought that part was pretty interesting. Coming off the Chris Sale stuff and the sport of baseball and where we're at. Brent Martineau along with Casey Kurtz, Noah Schlicksup hanging out with us. Austin Lane was with us earlier in the show where we talked a bunch of Jags. We talked about the Hunt in the latest episode and James Gladstone, Tony Baselli, and how it impacts what they're trying to do and where we're going with these Jacksonville Jaguars. If you missed any of that, you can always check it out on the podcast, Action Sports Jacks. Just look it up, or you go back and watch this show on social media, on YouTube and Facebook and Twitter and all the rest. As we're hanging out at the Coastal Collegiate Baseball League and the Bragan Baseball Complex. Let's get back to football for a moment, and we're going to have a guest jump in here in a couple of moments. Casey, we bring you that one painter, First Coast, paint the player, and how about Eric Armstead? Armstead, a topic this week on the show because Armstead was the guy that said yesterday as he woke up and shared with the world, good morning, Brenton Strange is going to be a top 5 tight end in the league. And so not really sure where that came from, but it was a good conversation point. As for Eric Armstead, I think back to yesterday's conversation of find that third pass rusher behind Josh Hines Allen and Trayvon Walker, he could be that candidate along with Emmanuel Ogbah. If they can get, every season has a bunch of ifs. When you're the Jacksonville Jaguars, you seem like you have more ifs.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think he's a huge if. This is why I wasn't a big fan of Mason Graham coming at number 5 to the Jags. It wasn't going to happen anyway. It was going to be Ashton Genty. But I wasn't a fan of the Mason Graham thing all the way back from the jump when it had a lot of steam. Because I think you have Mason Smith, who looks like he has some potential. And I think you also have Eric Armstead, who I believe there's something more in the tank, especially if you identify what he wants, what you need him to do better than the last regime. And Armstead could have himself a nice year if they can figure that out, if this new scheme works. And he is a big part of the success of the Jaguars front because they have had very little push on the interior, very little production on the interior the last couple of seasons. So I think Mason Smith, Eric Armstead, Devon Hamilton, you could throw Jordan Jefferson in, but I just don't know if there's enough sample and evidence to be able to say he's going to be a factor. I just think Devon Hamilton has to get back to form. Eric Armstead has to find at least close to form. Even if he's aging, he might not have his best year ever, but he has to be more productive, be someone you can rely on week in, week out. And then I think Mason Smith becomes a bit of a wild card where, hey, this dude could be good, and by the end of the year, second half of the year, you might be saying his name more than anybody on the interior if it goes well. Obviously, the second-round pick out of LSU. Here's a look at Daniel Griffiths as he writes with ActionSportsJacks.com. Just about each and every day, you can see all his articles, and this is what he has on Eric Armstead. Here's the pressure percentage, and the win percentage for the Jaguars in the back half of the year. I would not have guessed these numbers, Casey, if you had showed them to me.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I hate to say it, didn't really feel like that watching them play and remembering how some of those things played out. But, back half of the season, Eric Armstead, in terms of pressure, was effective, according to these numbers, and won more than 15% of the time. So that's, I guess I would say, something good to build off of, Brent. But, I mean, listen, when you brought Eric Armstead in here, and I understand he played out of position, but you expected immediate impact. You got that in a Walter Payton Man of the Year award for what he did off the field and in the community and all that stuff. But I think you need more on the field. I think that's crystal clear. And it sounds like and looks like you should get that going into this year. And you mentioned a guy like Mason Smith. And I'll give you early on, you got to see what this looks like and all that. But Mason Smith was still a second-round pick. He needs to contribute to your team, in my opinion, Now, like, you picked him, it's time. Like, you got to do it. You can't keep picking guys in the second and third round if you're the Jacksonville Jaguars and waiting for them to contribute. I understand you need an opportunity to contribute, and we'll see what that plays out for Mason Smith as we go forward. But that's a guy you need to contribute, in my opinion, early.
Yeah, I mean, really, if you can get anything out of Armstead, Mason Smith, or Emmanuel Agba, you feel really good about the other guys doing their job. And you know, the one thing, and you don't love to say it, that I don't want to predict anything or put any bad mojo on anybody, but these guys like Josh and Trayvon have been very healthy too, you know, and it's a sport where, you know, you might miss a game or two here or there. So that puts more emphasis on other people being able to contribute. Now, they'll get more opportunity if something like that happened, but you got to be able to rely on something. And that's my big thing in sports in general, is you want to know what you have to at least rely on. And then if you go above it, great. If you go below it, you're probably not doing too well. I don't think we know, as a public, what to expect from Eric Armstead, Mason Smith, Devon Hamilton. And I think that's a problem. Until it's not a problem, that is a problem. So that's your That One Painter First Coast. Paint the player. Check out thatonepainter.com/first-coast for all your painting needs this summer, interior, exterior, all across Northeast Florida. Thatonepainter.com/first-coast. Brent Martineau now joined by
Appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
All right, I'm going to move this up a little bit, so don't move. There you go. You can give us your background. I didn't get a whole thing other than your name on you, so you're a local guy?
Yes, sir. I went to Clay High School, graduated in 2023, to which then I went up to Pennsylvania to a D3 called Keystone.
Yeah, good program up there.
Yes, sir. Ended up deciding it wasn't the place for me, so I left after the fall, transferred in the spring portal, or the winter portal, to Middle Georgia State, where I had been that spring and then last year, and currently I'm looking for a new school now.
All right, so from Clay to Keystone to Middle Georgia State, you're making your travels. You got a lot of different uniforms, including the Sharks one now.
Yes, sir.
But that's the nature of it.
Oh yeah,
right?
Especially nowadays.
How is it normal almost for you guys now as players? I know moms and dads are probably a little bit different, but give us a sense of you guys playing college ball, wanting to play college ball, love the game, and want to continue the career, and then everything going on. How unsettling is it? How confident that you're going to find the next place? And how comfortable are you that, hey, you just might have to bounce around?
I mean, I know it used to be if you got in the portal, it was weird. You were supposed to stay at your schools. Now it's a normal thing for guys that, unfortunately, I didn't like it going into college, but it's the nature of it. Portal is a big thing now, so if you don't like the place you're at, if you're not getting a chance to compete, then it's a big thing for you to step into it and go on to the next school that you could possibly go to. For me, it's awkward not knowing whether or not that there will be a place for me. Trying to figure out where I could be, where I could go. It's unsettling because you don't know if there's going to be a place for you. You don't know if there's going to be schools that need you or want you at the time. So, I mean, because you never know what schools need certain things. So it's unsettling, but it's the nature of it nowadays. So,
are you willing to go anywhere, or do you kind of? I mean, listen, a lot of players want to play in the South, right? Or if it's a little, you experienced the cold in Keystone up there in Pennsylvania, and probably okay if we could stay away. Or are you like, hey, I just want to play, go find me a home, go find me a good fit?
I would prefer to stay in the South. That's where I would like to be: Florida, South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama. But I mean, I'm willing to go anywhere that wants me.
So here we are about to hit June. You're playing ball, and you have no idea where you're going to go to school in August.
Talk to a school or two, but no clue right now.
Is your expectation, the way this has been kind of set up, the way we understand it, this is a huge month for the portal, right? So do you feel like in the next couple weeks, 3 weeks, end of June, you'll have an idea?
I'm hoping, yeah.
It's so unusual, right? Because when you're coming out of high school, I don't know when you knew you were going to Keystone. When was that?
I think it was just before the spring season, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so January.
My senior year.
Yeah, January or February. Yeah. And so you knew. And now you're like, you have no idea how to even get an apartment or a dorm room or wherever else. It is just the nature of it. People, like, this is not new, by the way. People don't always love where you go. You try it out, and maybe that happened at Keystone or then Middle Georgia's a different. But you mentioned a couple of different reasons. You might not love the fit, might not. Maybe the weather's bad, maybe whatever else. And then you might not get the opportunity to play. Like, those are the two things, right, that pretty much have people moving the most. Oh. Well, unless you're going to chase NIL money, which that's a smaller percentage of the population.
That's more of the big D1 guys that'll leave to go chase the NIL. But for the most part, it's the not getting a chance to compete, or it's just not the right fit.
All right, well, you come from a great program, and Clay, they had another nice run. How close do you still follow what Coach Persinger and everybody's doing there at Clay?
Oh, I'm still texting him all the time. He's one of those that, when you're playing for him, you're ready to go because he's a really good coach. Like, he's tough on you, and then you leave and you wish you could go back.
Yeah. I kind of wish you missed those high school days, don't you?
I miss the entire aspect of Clay.
That's good stuff. They had another great year. They'll probably have another good year coming up. What about this league and being able to play here at home in the summer? Obviously, it's a relatively new thing. Usually you got to go chase these summer leagues around. Have you enjoyed this, and why did you pick here?
Originally, it was just to stay close to home and get reps, and wasn't expecting like crazy competition. And then we get here, and it's solid competition all around. It's close to home, which is perfect, which is why I'm back again. But solid competition at a local place. You get to see guys from. I mean, we have a guy from FAMU who got to start in the championship game for them. So it's a very good competition set, and it's just fun. It's
at the end of the day, you just want to play ball, right?
Oh, yeah. Do what you can to play.
And your buddies and people. And that's part of the fun part of this, right? You know a lot of these guys, or at least by name. Oh, yeah. But now you get to know a lot of these guys, whether you're playing. I mean, it's only 5 teams, so you're going to – even the opposition you're getting to know quite a bit.
We have 4 guys from our rival school at college that are on my team. So
okay. Good deal. Well, that's fun. Who do you got? Who you guys playing?
I think the Turtles again.
Oh, they're playing doubleheader?
I believe
I guess
so.
That makes sense. Yeah, with 3 games going on today. They're kind of the team to beat, it looks like.
Them and I think the Dolphins.
Dolphins have a good squad. Yeah. All right. Chase Haggard, good luck. And what position, by the way?
Catcher.
Catcher. Well, you should have an easier time with that, right?
I'm hoping.
I mean, it's not a lot of catchers rolling around. So go put some good tape on. Tell them to maybe watch. If we get by the end of the show, we'll have some highlights of Chase coming up, and we'll add to the resume tape.
Yes, sir.
Good luck, man. Enjoy the summer. Thanks for taking a few minutes. Let's do this. Take a time out here at the Brent Austen Show on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 Network, and we will put a bow on a week, which was kind of a short one, and get you set for the weekend. And also next week as we enter the month of June, the Jaguars OTAs next week. Kind of a fun week next week for us with OTAs on Monday. The Jags coaches, which I really like, we'll get to a chance to meet with those guys in a roundtable session next Thursday. And we also have a little bit of a Tony Baselli interview that we're working on for our show Storytellers of the 904. You'll hear about this coming up this weekend and next week, but we had a chance to go one-on-one with Travis Hunter this week as well. That will start to play over the next couple of days. So a lot of fun and exciting stuff in terms of the Jaguars when next week resumes here on Action Sports Jacks 24/7 Network and the Brent Austen Show as we take a look at in-between game time here at the Bragan Baseball Complex. Game number 2 coming up at 1 o'clock. It'll be the Turtles and the Sharks. We'll be right back.
Are you about to graduate high school and haven't decided on what you want to do when you get done? Well, one option is to apply to become a student in the Electrical Training Alliance of Jacksonville. Their program offers structured classroom and online training along with on-the-job training so that you can earn while you learn. Still not convinced? The folks at ETA Jacks are a tuition-free 4-year apprenticeship program. There is no tuition and no student debt. Just pay for your books and your fees. That's it. Now, speaking of pay, students, they start off making $40,000 per year, including benefits. And they graduate, get this, making over $80,000 per year, including those sought-after benefits. Now, that sounds pretty good to me. And if that sounds good to you, it should check off a lot of boxes. So head on over to etajacks.org and apply by May 15th. Again, the website, right here, etajacks.org. Don't wait, apply today.
People helping people. It's at the core of what Alive Credit Union is all about, and it's been that way for over 70 years. From the start in 1954 to today, the mission remains to inspire financial wellness and give you a financially fit lifestyle. Alive Credit Union and its employees are committed to not only serving their valued members, but also our community here in Northeast Florida. I had a chance to see that commitment firsthand as Alive partnered with our Action Sports Jacks 24/7 team to bring you Armada men's and women's soccer broadcasts. Inside the 18, it is a shot, and it's a goal! Chloe Chivers! And that connection to the community continues with Alive Credit Union's support of the Police Athletic League of Jacksonville. Alive Credit Union's commitment to our community also involves serving the financial needs of all first responders through the recent merger partnership with City and Police Federal Credit Union. Join the community and become a member of Alive Credit Union today. Find out the many ways you can be inspired in financial wellness at alivecu.coop.
You trust CGC to make your water great, and now you can trust CGC with your plumbing needs as well. Fast, convenient scheduling, licensed and insured. A quick call away at 904-552-1242.
You never know when you're going to have an issue with a shower, toilet, or maybe it's a sink that sometimes is easy to fix. All right, let's be honest. I'm not fixing anything. I'm totally staging this because when I have a plumbing problem, I call CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing.
Trained professionals, transparent pricing, customer satisfaction. Small problem or even a bigger issue. Save 10% off any water heater, plus no trip charge. The experts with 25 years of experience at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing can do it all. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. For a limited time, CGC is waiving the trip charge on all related plumbing calls. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1432579.
For the game day hustle and every day in between, juggling my show Jag Social to going under the Friday night lights and a social life, it's a daily tournament. But this ride, MVP status. The all-new 2024 Lincoln Nautilus isn't just my car, it's my personal locker room, office on the go, and VIP lounge on wheels. Let's talk tech. My profile remembers everything from customizing my dash display to setting the ambient lighting and my signature scent. And wireless charging, essential for live tweeting scores. Whether I'm packing for a beach day with friends or heading to the gym, there's space for every passion. After dominating all day, this becomes my recovery zone. The massage feature is like having a personal PT on call. Life's a non-stop game, but with this ride, I'm always on my A game. The 2024 Lincoln Nautilus. Drive your passion.
Grab some friends and go to a restaurant or head out for a drink and some conversation. Watch your favorite team play on the big screen. Or how about play some games? You can do all of that in one night at Best Bet.
Each location has a different vibe, its own personality, like here at the original Best Bet in Orange Park. When you walk through these doors, everybody knows your name. And here in St. Augustine, it's the newest location. Play some poker. How about the table games? And don't forget about Ace's Sports Bar and Grill. And then there's the Jacksonville location right here on Monument Road. It's the biggest poker room in the state of Florida. Maybe you'll find yourself a seat right here at the final table.
Best Bet, where you can have the best of times. And that makes you always go home a winner. Try any of the 3 locations, and you can always visit bestbetjacks.com.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austin Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network.
Hi, welcome back to the Bregan Baseball Complex and Fort Family. In between games here as the Turtles beat the Hawks 7-1, and the Turtles and Sharks play at 1 o'clock. So we've got a game coming up in just a little bit between the Turtles and Sharks. I don't know if you'll see much of that one. Our show ends at 1 o'clock, but we were able to see a good portion of the first game. That went by pretty quick, actually. You never know what you're in for with baseball, right? Could be a long one or not. You think I should throw in the title, Watch Now, Turtles and Sharks? That could get interesting. I mean, what's better, a turtle and a hawk or a turtle and a shark?
Turtle and Sharks a blowout, dude. Sharks all day. I mean, it feels like it'd be pretty
Turtle and
straightforward.
Sharks Sharks in most everything is a blowout, probably. We got the Dolphins, the Turtles, the Sharks, and
we got
what
the
else do we
beluga
have? Do we have
whales.
the Stingrays. We need something to. We need something to get the Sharks. I don't know. I was watching a game. I think the summer league thing is fun, right? Because we're kind of in it now. But I did so much homework on summer league baseball earlier this year that it was just interesting to watch all the different renditions of it, how people do it. And they're doing a great job here in Jacksonville with it, and it's something that really is needed. And I think it's going to continue to grow here. But it's big across the country. I don't think people realize how big it is. I mean, one of the biggest leagues, I think I told you about this recently, it's like Cape Cod. Everybody knows Cape Cod League. The second best league I hear is in Alaska. Like the Alaskan League is either the second or third best league. The Northwoods League is a big league. Coastal Plains League is a big league. There's the Appalachian League. Like those are big, kind of like where the D1 guys seem to end up and play, and some of the top prospects. But then there's all these other leagues. I mean, there's just a million of them, it feels like. And so we're checking out this Perfect Game League that Ty's playing in, and it starts tonight, and he's playing up in New York. And so we're watching one of the other games that started last night. And one of the names of the teams is the Jamestown
Madison's.
James
Madison.
Nah, it's the Tarp. Hold on. Now I got to get it. Tarp Skunks. Tarp Skunks. I don't even know what the hell that means. See, that's why these are hard. So the Jamestown Tarp Skunks. And I think at the end of the game, so we listened to it, it was like, we'll tell you who the stinky player of the game is.
Damn.
Is the way they did it. It's like, oh, wait a minute now. Seems like a little bit of an oxymoron there.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
But that's the kind of stuff you get. So I've started to think like life after ball for not the kids, but for Steph and I, since we really like it.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like one of the things I could do in the summer outside of chasing tornadoes with Burish
have more kids.
Is going around to the different – no, not having more kids.
Okay.
Going around to different leagues, summer leagues, and finding a spot to, just go see the different places. So you go to the Northwoods League, by the way. It's like you can go on some 12-hour drives at the Northwood League. It's crazy. But there's some great leagues in, the Missouri, Kansas area. There are some leagues in Ohio, other places. So you just bounce around and you see, hey, where are the coolest towns to play collegiate baseball league in the summer? Because that's kind of what this is the same thing with Jacksonville. This one's a very convenient league. Everything is right. Most everything is right here at the Bregan Baseball Complex. So it's centrally located. Obviously, you don't have to worry about the rain as much. Now, you might have to from a playing standpoint, but not from a field standpoint. The beauty about playing up north is, you don't have to worry about the thunderstorms every afternoon, and it's not 95 degrees. So
right.
It's kind of a nice setting to play ball in. But most towns aren't like Jacksonville. You come here to Jacksonville from Louisiana, from Michigan, from wherever to play, you got things to do. You go to the shrimp game on the weekend, you go to the beach. Ties up in Elmira.
Nothing.
And ain't a lot to do, man, up in Elmira for an 18, 20-year-old kid. It just isn't. And that's okay, too. But because of that, they're going to have 3,000 people at a game tonight because it's kind of the thing to do in that town. So you go for different reasons, I guess is my point. You want to find a quality baseball, you get your work in, but I think it's more experiential is what summer baseball can be. And I think that's the cool part about it. If I could go back and do it, I think, knowing what I know now, and if I could have done it this way, I'd go try to play in 4 different places and see the world, see the country a little bit. So you go play in New York, and then you maybe go play in a New England league, and you go play in a Virginia league, and maybe one they got summer baseball leagues in Wyoming. That'd be kind of fun.
Be interesting
to check that out. So. Yeah. So I think that's what my next in about 3 or 4 years I'm getting an RV,
Okay.
And I'm going to go do reporting on the best places to play summer ball.
Okay.
And probably end up in Wisconsin and see some of Wisconsin as well. Some good places up there, I bet.
Nice.
For summer ball.
I'm glad you got a plan, man. That's good.
I think we got Austin coming back. Yeah, that's my plan. That's my plan for now. I don't know if it will work, but I can do the show from the road, and that will be part of the show. I just check in and use the Starlink. Hopefully it works. Just cruising down, Route 66 in a minivan or in an RV. The minivan's not a bad. Minivan's always a good rental car, by the way, because you can fit a lot of luggage in there, and you never know, like something like this, if you're gonna have to bring some more people, or when you go home and visit, you might have like the cousins that jump in the car as well. So the minivan's actually a good rental. The perception of the minivan versus the actual utility of the minivan is far off, Austin Lane. Like I think it's one of the great cars we owned. Was a minivan when the kids were younger. Like, it was fantastic, and that's, by the way, where I learned the most about bees, because the Bee movie played in the minivan all the time.
I think in terms of functionality, you can't beat it. Now, in terms of aesthetics on the outside, is it a little questionable? Sure. But, dude, you talk about those captain's chairs, and listen, one of my best friends growing up, Griff, he had a minivan. And Brent, if there's kids listening, because school's out now, I don't advise you to do this, but we used to always ride in his minivan, and we used to open the doors, have the doors open, put our seatbelts on, man, and just cruise in those captain's chairs, man. Call us James Cook out there on the ocean, man. There's nothing like it.
Casey's like, minivan? I ain't doing minivan. What's the chances that Casey owns a minivan at some point in his life?
I mean, Casey, you could probably haul a lot of, collectibles, Funko Pops, helmets, stuff like that. I mean, I feel like it looked pretty good on you.
I like the idea that it could be functional for the business, but doesn't really feel like my style. But you never know. I'll never say never.
Sounds like a tax write-off to me, Casey.
Yeah.
Now, okay, I'm back in. I'm back in now.
Welcome back. Welcome back,
That's
Casey.
Good. That is actually that's a great call for his line of work. The tax write-off for a minivan actually would be like legit. That's the home office, right?
Oh yeah. I'll do anything for a tax
Casey,
write-off.
What's Todd Golden saying to you when you pull up in the parking lot in Gainesville in the minivan?
I was gonna be like, I thought you were cool. As it turns out, you're just a minivan driving bum. I'd be like, Todd, you don't understand.
He's got a minivan too. It's just souped up. Don't worry.
I ain't seen Tom Golden driving no minivan, dog. I'll tell you that.
I mean, Brent, all I'm saying is, if the A-team can do it, anybody can do it. The A-team made the minivan look really cool. I mean, if you put a couple racing stripes on that bad boy, paint that thing black, have some cool music blaring in the background, maybe have a guy in the crew with a mohawk, let's go.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. I mean, the minivan was way better than that was the whole thing. It was way better than the perception of it. Like, the utility of it was just fantastic. Now, I do think, I have no idea. Car prices are so high now. You just obviously bought one. I don't know if it was
Brent.
new or
Come
used.
on now. Who are you talking to, Brent? Used.
Yeah. Yeah, I figured it was used. But I think I don't know if the minivan has crept up as much as everyone else, because a lot of people went from they said, okay, if we're going to get an oversized car or a bigger car, we'll just go get like the, whatever, Suburbans or something like that. And even if it's a used one but those things are pricey now. I mean, you go get, I think the Suburban's probably up around almost six figures. I don't think the minivans can't be that
No,
expensive.
because you're supposed to be family friendly.
It's
Yeah,
still
but
expensive.
I'll tell you what's really big, man, is when you people are starting to take those Sprinter vans now, and kind of that'd be cool too, man. Get a big Sprinter van and then just kind of turn it into your own personal apartment and everything. Like, I remember my last year in Chicago for training camp. We're staying in the dorms in Burbania or whatever it was. Super boring. Two twin size mattresses and everything. You all right, Brent? Okay.
Yeah, I'm right. I'm just looking at the
that's
chat.
a meme. Hey, Casey, go ahead and make that into a GIF of Brent pulling those shades down and looking. That's going to be a GIF for sure. But I remember Jay Cutler, one of my, quarterback Jay Cutler, my teammate, he had like a giant tricked out Sprinter van that he literally stayed in the entire duration of training camp. So like here I am back in just, the dorm, sleeping in a twin size mattress, and Jay Cutler's got like the Hilton Suites on wheels, man. It was crazy.
I will tell you this. If you, say, Brent, what's your next major purchase, right? I don't think I'm selling the house anytime soon and moving to downsize. Maybe. But what's your next purchase? I have flirted with the Sprinter van type of concept idea because we took the rented the RV, and it was the first time I'd ever driven the RV, like a real one. Now, not like the bus-looking one. This was more like RV, like U-Haul trucky one, and we took it to North Carolina with the kids. It was right after Florida Georgia weekend, a couple years ago. It was a fun trip, but I wanted to do it so bad, and I did it. I'm like, this is cool, but I don't know if I need something that big to drive extensively. It's a big rig. You feel it when you're in the middle lane and people are buzzing by you, and you it takes some getting used to. So I like the Sprinter van concept, especially if it's going to be just Steph and I now, making our way to all these places. The kids aren't coming. So Sprinter van seems to fit a little bit more, but I haven't had a good chance to figure out how loaded I need it in. Do people put showers in that thing? Your bed is one thing. I don't know how
I'm not
that
sure
all
about
works.
showers, but I know entertainment systems, a nice bed, a kitchen. I have one of my friends who I train with in Jacksonville. His name's Stephen Coslow. He used to have a Sprinter van. And he used to just, take it to gym after gym. He used to drive to Orlando and stuff and down south and just live out of his van. And yeah, I think, if the kids are out of the house, Brent, it makes sense for you and Steph. It's just you have to do some research, man, and find out how you want to customize it.
Yeah, because then you go stay in the RV lots, and that's a good way to do it. Z Fortner, thanks for bringing this up because we have not talked about this, and we said we would. And he just asked, have we talked about Driscoll leaving UNF? And it was a week ago that we broke the story on a Thursday afternoon that Matthew Driscoll was headed to Kansas State. He then had the news conference. We held that live here on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network on Friday. And then we had the long weekend, and it kind of got away from us. But a great opportunity to end the week with a little Matthew Driscoll talk. Austin, I know you've grown to really be fond of Coach Driscoll. We have him on the show all the time. Huge change in decision to resign and go to Kansas State. The way of the world in college basketball right now is it's really tough at this UNF level, and he's example A of that and what's transpired in the last few years, just getting raided by the big schools who are paying big bucks. What were your thoughts when you saw that he was headed to Kansas State?
Not gonna lie, man, it made me a little sad, Brent. He was a guy that I've gotten to know over the past 5 or 6 years. And, I was always the way I was raised, man, it was my grandparents and my mom. They always kind of preach the same thing. And they always told me to gravitate towards people who speak their truth, who are unapologetically themselves, and who you'd want to go through the mud with. Basically meaning, if times got tough, who are you going to have in that foxhole? And, man, I can count, on numerous occasions when I didn't even ask for any kind of motivation, when I didn't even ask for anything, and I just had Coach Driscoll's voice in the background, man. I remember one time I was getting ready for a fight a couple years ago, and I'm running at the beach, and it's 95 degrees outside. I'm on my 3rd mile, and let's be honest, life just sucks at that moment. And, and I'm getting towards the tail end, man, but I'm dying. I'm out of energy. I'm running on E. My battery's running low, and all of a sudden I just hear, "Let's go, Lane, pick it up a little bit. You got this." And I'm like, dude, I'm in the middle of Jacksonville Beach. I'm whatever, First Street. I'm and I turn around and here's Coach Driscoll in the car following behind me, pushing me. When I'm sure he had places to be on the weekend, but he made it a habit to go outside himself just to give me that little extra push, man. And that's the thing. He didn't ask anything in return. That's just who he is, Brent. And I think if the world had more people like that, it would be a far better place. I pretend to know a lot about sports, but I think I'm a pretty good judge of character, and I think I know great coaches. And believe me when I say Coach Driscoll is definitely one of the good ones, man, and he's going to be missed. But I know wherever he's going to do, man, he's going to succeed. So best of luck to him, man. I'm going to reach out to him probably in the next couple of days. I haven't had a chance to really, text him and tell him how I feel about everything. But best of luck to him, man. One of the salts of the earth dudes, and he's definitely one of the good ones.
You know what's really interesting about Coach Driscoll, and obviously we're pretty close, and it's cool for me. I just a selfish take from me is that I got here in 2008, he got here in 2009. So this is really the first kind of story, if you will, or subject in my career that I've covered front to back. And really when he came here, it's almost like it felt like the birth of UNF basketball. Like he helped put it on the map. He built the program, the arena today, the NCAA tournament run, the expectations changed. The brand that they built, all that. So got to cover it from front to back. And if you saw last week, we put a lot of those stories out on social media. It was really cool to see all the different steps of the journey of Matthew Driscoll that really we've kind of followed and been on. And let's be honest, I mean, we don't cover UNF like we cover the Jags, right? I mean, but we still, there were some cool stories and things to tell and highlight along the way with UNF basketball. And so with that, because we're kind of close to him and everything you just said is spot on, then I think you overlook how good of a coach he is. I mean, he was on the Baylor staff. He gets this job. He flips this program in from nothing to something. He continues to keep the assistants and his staff had stayed together for the entire time, or at least come back if they had left for a year or two. I always say he's a perfect fit for that school. There are challenges along these 15, 16 years for UNF that people don't know exactly about. From getting kids in from a grade standpoint and where they were and what they were allowing in to money, to the fact that I think because you work for the state, if I have this right, like even if you sign a 5-year contract, it's not a guaranteed 5-year contract. Like you're always up for renewal. So even that part isn't safe as a basketball coach. Like you can be bounced almost at any time. So there are things about the job that aren't the same as everywhere else. So he navigated that, and I thought he was perfect because he brought that. He became the ambassador for the for the campus. I mean, look how he started the news conference last week. He started the news conference with saluting the beach volleyball and softball programs. It wasn't about him. Like he is an ambassador for that program, and so I always thought that was really cool. What he's able to do. But underrated was the way he can coach. And look at the players he's developed the last few years that have gone on and done great things, and people have really kind of stolen his players. Hey, I'm going to let you talk for a moment because we got the national anthem coming up. So
I can.
Casey, take me off and let him talk.
Yeah. All right. I'm a. Okay, I mean, I was trying to chill for the national anthem too, Casey, but I just gotta keep on talking. That's cool. If Casey's there, maybe not.
You're good.
Whatever the case. But yeah, when we talk about Coach Driscoll, and I urge anybody who hasn't seen the interview yet, go back to his last interview that we did here on the Brent Austen Show, where I just kind of sat down with Coach Driscoll a little bit, and I just kind of addressed some of the landscape now of college basketball. And I'm gonna be honest, man to man, it was the closest I ever came to crying on an interview, just because. I could feel the passion in his voice. I could see his passion in his eyes, and I've been around enough coaches to know that sometimes they're kind of checked out. Sometimes it's just kind of like, they're on to bigger and better things, or they just want to do something else. And Coach Driscoll wasn't at that point. You could tell that Coach Driscoll still cared about that UNF program and everything. And, when I asked him about that landscape, it almost seemed like he was damned if he did and damned if he didn't. Because if you coach these guys with all you got and you elevate those players, you lose them. If you don't give them everything you got and you don't elevate them, okay, then you keep them for a couple years, but then how good is your team? So in that interview, I gained a lot of respect, man, because he was almost at like the poker table, and every single card was stacked against him. The dealer was stacked against him. Everything was stacked against him simply just because, it was damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah, I think you're right. just an interesting story for me. But I thought it was, you said something a little bit earlier, if everybody was kind of like this and more genuine all the time, right, and unapologetically themselves. And I think Coach Driscoll is. And for some people, that can be awkward, right? Like, but I thought the news conference was so perfectly him. It went for an hour without anybody asking a question. It was loud. Like, we thought like our mic was messed up. Casey was there for it. It was just Coach Driscoll, man, with his energy. Like, we couldn't do anything about it. Nick Morrow started talking. It was like, hey, the levels were fine. Like, but that's what. But he really brought that, and I mean, it was part preaching. It was. He said stuff in there that if like, I just feel like if a Power 4 coach said some of the stuff as transparently as it's dissected so much, that he would have been like, what did he just say? Like, he was telling you like how much people were making in NIL money and things like that, right? And he was, I don't know if he was applauding or calling out Coach Moon at times. Like, he's just transparent. He is who he is, and I thought that exemplified it. And I think what you learn in that situation is people appreciate him, and they appreciate that genuine nature, and they appreciate him being himself. And I think that's what we appreciate about him. You always feel like you're getting that. And you kind of feel a little bit better when you're around him, right? And then at the same time, you're almost like, how can I be a little bit more like that? Am I a little, you feel like you're trying to be a good person or you're being genuine. Like, there are not too many people that walk around that you kind of ask that question about. Like, hey, am I doing things at the right standard here? I think he kind of brings that. He makes people better. I mean, think about what the Jags were talking about, right? Like, elevate their ecosystem. I think he actually did that for that entire campus at the University of North Florida. And that was not his job. That was not his job. His job was to coach basketball and make the basketball program better. And he did so much more. It's a really tough job for Bobby Kennan. And I think Bobby's going to be great. I think he's going to do his thing, and he knows how to coach basketball. He knows how to recruit. He knows all about it. He'll do fine. But I do think it's a hard job because Driscoll has kind of set the table in so many ways that people are used to things working the same way. And Bobby Kennan and Matthew Driscoll are two different people. Much like you and I are two different people. Like, we wouldn't do things exactly the same. So I think that will be a bit of a challenge, not for Bobby, but for everybody else to adapt to in this whole transition time. But I'm glad that he's going to get a good shot to at least audition for this job, and we'll see where the program ends up going. But hey, the reality is, just on the face value of him going to Kansas State, Austin, is it's exhausting. It's exhausting right now to be a mid-major coach at a place like UNF and other places, even if you've done a good job. And to your point, if you do a good job, it's almost more exhausting because you're going to get rated. And I think this will be a great opportunity for him and his family. I'm excited for him that he can kind of settle back. He's not an old guy by any means. Still got a ton of energy. I think he's 60 years old. But he can settle back and just coach basketball, because I don't think people do that anymore. I don't think you get into coach. You get into help people. And I just don't think you're, in today's landscape, that's not your number one job. Look at Todd Golden, Casey's guy. His number one job is not really to coach. His number one job is to run the budget, the salary cap, and to acquire talent. That is really his number one job, not recruiting and then coaching, not building relationships and then coaching. No, it's to absolutely acquire. And how do you build and acquire that? That is not what Todd Golden probably got in this profession about, but that's what he actually has to do, and you have to do at that level.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong, Brennan. And listen, it seems like if you're at the mid-major level, then you better go to a Sweet 16. And then, you're going to have a chance to get elevated, because if you don't, your players will get poached, and then you'll just kind of be, left where you are. And it's crazy. Like, no one's going to feel sorry for you. No matter how many great guys that you recruit that go play on bigger stages and go to the NBA. Like, it doesn't matter, man. It's a cruel world, because at least like in football, I feel like, Brent, where if you have sustained success, like, you have a good idea. Okay, like, this guy is the real deal. Let's elevate him. When it comes to basketball, like, if you're not going to the Sweet 16, it's like, okay, so you won a conference tournament, but what does that really, it's crazy.
Yeah, I'll give you one more thought, by the way, on this, just to put a bow on it, and I appreciate Z. Fortner asking. I think Daniel Kilkenny asked earlier this week, too. This is why I feel so good about this move for the people involved, meaning Driscoll, I think it's great for his family. I think this takes this is good. This has been, he even said it, for 3 years now. This has been kind of a possibility. So that's off his chest. I feel good about that. I feel good for Bobby Kennan getting an opportunity and that staff moving forward and still being a part of what they've built at UNF too. And then I really feel good for athletic director Nick Morrow, because I think he was in a tough spot the last couple years and would continue to be in a tough spot with the fan base and the boosters and everybody else that support the program. It's like, do we make a change? Should we make a change? Is that going to matter if we make a change? But wait a minute, we owe it to Coach Driscoll. Look what he's done. Like, that's a tough thing. And so I feel good for Nick that got taken off his plate. And now they can take their time and how they want to build this and who's going to be the guy going forward at some point down the road. So the whole situation, while I think some people see, like you said, kind of sad about it, and Z Fortner says sad about it, it actually brings a bit of a smile to my face, because I think everybody's in a better place than they were probably like 2 weeks ago or 2 months ago. Now we got to hope that the UNF basketball program is in a better place going forward, and that will be challenging. But that's partly challenging because of the landscape today in sports.
No, without a doubt, man. I guess in closing, man, to speak on, one of my favorite authors of all time, Hunter S. Thompson, he once said, the guy is one of God's own prototypes and he's too rare for mass production. That's how I feel about Coach Driscoll. He's just too rare for mass production, man. World couldn't handle a lot of them. But I'm glad that we get him, though.
Great quote. Great quote. And by the way, did you have that on the bingo card, Casey? Pulling a book quote from Austin Lane as he jumped back on the show today on a Friday.
I can do it all, Brent. I can do it all.
All right. Hey, man, we'll go get a good work in this weekend. We'll see you back on Monday. And we'll be talking a lot of Travis Hunter next week, as we had a chance to sit down with him yesterday. So look forward to that. And good luck training down there in Miami. All right. Well, that will do it from Fort Family and the Breagan Baseball Complex. Turtles putting 3 on the board in the first inning, as you've been able, or you can see right here. And have a great weekend. We got the Armada on tomorrow at 7 o'clock on the Action Sports Shacks 24/7 network. Action Sports Shacks primetime on CBS 47, Fox 30 as well. So we'll see you all weekend long on TV and on social media and on the network.